Go ahead, say it. Finish it.
Nope.
You're not even what?
Nope.
Go ahead. We're live, pal.
Mm-mm.
All right. So we got a special guest. I was going to do the whole thing, right? I was going to welcome to the TFW podcast, episode 187. I'm your favorite talk out in these rest of the streets, Matt, joined by Rhodesia, joined by Eshaun. Then I was going to lead right into the special guest, which we do have a very, very special guest. I think I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm off or not. One, you guys have heard this man's name at least 72 times on the podcast. And I believe, if I am not mistaken, you are one of the true day ones. Yeah. You are one of the number one freaks from the TFW pod. Wole is at the show. Finally got this man on. He is not some AI algorithm that we made up in our minds every time we brought him up. He is real in the flesh. My brother, what is going on?
What's good, man? Yeah, I am a real person. Put it out there. But yeah, first off, I want to congratulate y'all on your podcast, man. It's like one of the realest wrestling podcasts I've seen out there, and I caught y'all off the whim. So I'm not going to hold anybody from listening. I was just watching during like a time where I just started watching wrestling again, and I'm kind of like Matt and E. I'm like y'all because y'all when y'all reference stuff, that's how when I was younger. Those are the wrestling shows I watched. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Up. But yeah, man, I caught y'all just organically, and I watched y'all, and I was like, yo, y'all, I like that y'all family vibe. I like that y'all know each other. Y'all like real and y'all real tight. So from that point on, not just the wrestling, it's just y'all chemistry is like that to me. So yeah, that's pretty much why I just tapped into y'all.
My guy, appreciate you for that, brother.
That. Thank you.
You tapped in. Is what you have been from you and I always talking on Twitter, X now, to, you know, the podcast and you sending us questions and stuff. So, of course, we appreciate you like none other. You did say you were into it when you were younger. You got out of it. Kind of talk a little bit about that. What made you get out of it and then what made you get back into it?
So I was into it I was in it. So I'm not going to lie. I was in it when you're growing up. So I was just like NWA.
Crazy, you know.
You like WWF. Like I love the dude that I don't mess with no more at this, you know, like everybody growing up on the WWF when it comes to the yellow and red and whatnot.
Yeah, buddy.
But like then I was into it, NWO. I was into it for a minute. I think I got sick of it when John Cena got real corny to me. I was about rapping Cena. I was about rapping.
Of course.
Cena. Then was like never give up. I was like, I ain't with that crap. Like,
what?
It got cheesy.
Come on.
It got
but it was for the kids though. It was for the kids.
I wasn't a kid anymore. I was for the.
I was a grown ass man.
With the Triple H doing whatever. Like when he was in DX, like I'll show you stuff. I was that type of person. I was on that mode. But eventually, when John Cena got kind of cheesy for me. But I still tapped in a little bit. Like I like the Shield. The Shield was pretty dope to me. So I would just every once in a while when I was finished hooping, cause I play basketball a lot, finished hooping or whatever, I tap in and watch some wrestling. And then I just completely like really truly tapped out. And the only time I really tapped in a few times where I was on this radio show, podcast show, which it was supposed to just talk about mostly sports. We talked about wrestling too. So and I would tell dude, like, when you talk wrestling, just put me off, bro. I ain't trying to talk about no but I was that person.
How things have changed.
But then I would like, all right, so I would be forced to, you know, to be a part of it. I'd be forced to kind of watch some wrestling shows. And so I was like, this is not for me. But I would still be involved. I would know certain things, right? So, but after when that show ended, I was like, I'm done wrestling. I ain't watching wrestling anymore. And then COVID hit. So I was forced to watch like stuff that I wouldn't normally watch anymore. So I was watching like the WWE, but it was cheesy because Vince, like that whole thing was kind of cheesy with Vince. Then I was watching AEW. I said, okay, this is kind of dope. Like this is kind of dope. So AEW. I started being. That's why with E, like I was, you know, Cody kind of got me. So I was like, all right. Then I went back and looked at some stuff on YouTube and seeing Cody and the Bullet Club. And so I really started getting educated back into wrestling again. So I was watching all types of stuff. I was watching Impact at the time because I used to grow up. I loved TNA back in the day. So I was watching Impact. I was watching AEW. So then watching WWE. So when Cody jumped to the WWE, then it got real tight to me. I was like, okay, this is where it's at. Like, all right, I like it. Then I really started to get into it. So that kind of kept me going. So then from that point on, I've been watching like Impact, TNA now, AEW, and WWE. So I'm in it. You know what I mean? I'm in it.
If you had to rank those three,
it's easy.
from your favorite, what you got?
My favorite is WWE. AEW be second, and TNA would be third. But I will say this though. I feel like I judge wrestling different though than others now. Like I don't like, for instance, nothing's going to be WWE right now.
Okay.
So I don't put any of those others around to WWE. So I don't compare the two. Like I just don't. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like what you all talk about storyline, WWE got the storyline. That's down pat. You know what I'm saying? AEW got wrestling. So if I want to watch it for wrestling, I watch it for wrestling. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things I don't like about it, but at the end of the day, I know what I'm watching. For instance, like growing up, when I used to watch WWF and NWA, I knew what I was watching for. Like if I want to watch wrestling, I'd watch NWA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I would watch that. I would watch Ric Flair, Terry Funk. I'd watch that type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like a young Sting in the game. I would watch that type. Lex Luger. I would watch that. You know what I mean? But if I want to watch the whole, like having a character or whatever, or something to entertain me as a kid, I'd watch Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? So I knew what it was for me at that time. That's how I view it nowadays. Like I know if I want a storyline, if I want to be taken a certain place, I'll watch the WWE. If I just want to watch a quote unquote 5-star match, I'll watch
Bingo.
AEW. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like what I don't like about AEW fans, typically for me, is like they always punch, like they want to punch up me, like, oh, folks are hating on, why is WWE hating on AEW and things of that sort. But I'll be sitting back in my mind, I'll be like, yo, y'all the same folks that be hating on TNA though. Y'all know y'all be hating on TNA too, right? So when folks do it to y'all, don't get mad because y'all do it to them. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So for me as a fan, I just like it all.
So that is the perfect segue to what we got to start with. And the reason why we are recording a little bit later for us is because we're getting everything set up. Wole shoot me a DM and said, Ricky Starks is on NXT right now. I said, what? So I had to stop, of course, and I had to pull the footage up. That was going to be one of the things I wanted to talk about. I was going to clump him into Miro and clump him into Malaki or Aleister Black. I guess he is now our top story on this episode. Ricky Starks and damn NXT. We talked about it and we said, hey, where do we think he was going to show up at? I think we kind of all landed in NXT. We said he could be, he's main roster ready, but they don't need him, quote unquote, on the main roster with those names I just mentioned. I'm sure all of them are going to go in, but we'll talk about that. With what they have in NXT, he immediately makes that men's division much more watchable than it has been in a very long time, maybe 9 to 12 months. Initial thoughts from you guys about Ricky Starks now officially being out his AEW contract and signing with NXT.
This may be a bit unfair. Like, not maybe, it is unfair. But it's like, come on, show and prove. It's been so much hype around him. And I know he just got into the system. I'm telling you right now, it's not fair.
You're already not impressed?
No,
you're already not impressed. You're shitting on him already. That's crazy.
You told me right before you hit record that he came back, and I'm trying to get ready and stuff. No, it's time to go because again, that men's division.
When you hate somebody,
so
you hate
bad.
them to the inside.
No, what I'm saying
all
is,
this should have been
oh
was,
my God.
Man, I thought it was great, and then E goes and Wole goes, and then we spur
But
it
is
off
that?
to another
But is that?
conversation.
That's not real. That's
no
not
idea.
real. That's not
this
real.
This was going to turn into you telling us you are not a Ricky Starks fan.
Don't do that.
You
don't
do
do
not
that.
believe
Don't
the revolution
ever
will be
change my
televised.
narrative. Don't
I
tell
never
me.
knew this about
Don't
you.
do this. No, I'm just saying. Okay, let me rephrase it. The time is ripe for that men division of NXT to start shining. Ricky Stark doesn't have the luxury of time to be that main guy. He just got to get in there and go. Got to learn the system. He's still a young guy, so hopefully he's flexible like mental wise, and get and learn as much as he can and get to going. Because he doesn't have the normal luxury of even Paige coming in and being able to take his time. Although he won a belt right away, he still had time to kind of to learn the system. I'm ready for Ricky Stark to go in and go. Just kind of again like with Jade, when Jade didn't get the opportunity to be in NXT and they brought her straight up. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to get some at bats and some reps, but other than that, you got to go. I like Ricky Starks.
Does she really like Ricky Starks, Matt? Because I don't know sometimes. I don't know.
I don't.
Hey,
Brother,
Wole.
I
And so
thought so.
let me tell you something. One of the beautiful things about this show, I get to talk about wrestling with my best friends, but there's a whole nother side of Rhodesia I had no idea existed. So I learned about this woman through the podcast, right? So for instance, on the text chain we have. Oh, and by the way, I'm sliding this in. We got a chat on Riverside. Check that out. We throw some messages in there. But so we got a text thread, right? And so Rhodesia will put laugh out loud, right? If I crack a joke or something like that, I'm legit thinking that she thinks it's funny. Matt like, oh yeah, stone face. she sat there with a straight face, type laugh out
Y'all
loud.
are some snitches.
And she will hit you, Wole. She will hit you with like the LOLOLLLL, like
with the straight
5,
face,
right? Just like this. And I looked at my phone and I look at her like, is she the one that just sent that? Because you look pissed right now, let alone happy or smiling, but she is good for that. And then she be like, haha, I'm dying. You look at her and that's all it was. Ha-ha, I'm dying. And she put the phone back down. I was like, yo.
So I had to ask. I don't really know her opinion of Ricky Starks is, to be honest with you. But I'm a big Ricky Starks fan. Like, I thought he had high potential. I thought he should have achieved more in AEW. Sometimes it's a timing thing, right? Because especially when AEW was really hot, they had like a lot of guys that were bubbling, right? So he kind of had to go through there and kind of had to wait his turn a little bit. But I feel like when his turn came up, he didn't get to go. I felt like in a lot of ways. And I feel like right now with NXT, man, the time is now. They're going to slide him right in there, man. If a guy like Ethan Page can come in 2 weeks,
that's what I'm saying,
win the championship. This is no slouch because I think Ethan Page has done a great job over there, man. But I feel like Ricky Starks has a lot of the tools to be really great. I think going to NXT is a great decision too, because like, again, you go to WWE, like, man, that roster, again, there's a lot of people ahead of him, right? So it'd be great for him to kind of continue to be on a growing brand, because you look at that like NXT. Now, again, I'm not a ratings guy, but I like to look at like, people's engagement. It shows you a little bit of engagement. Like that show is getting, 800 plus, and they're growing every week, right? So he's going to be potentially a face of a growing brand. I think that's going to allow him to learn the WWE system, learn it the right way, because a lot of things, you don't get to learn it in AEW. Just like RVD, Bully Ray, and all those guys, when he said they came from ECW, they thought they knew a lot. They went to WWE, learned a lot more. So this allowed him to kind of continue to grow. Kudos. I'm ready for it. Hey, you know what? And I'm glad we freeing these people up, man, so we can get this talent on TV, goddammit. Like, thank you.
On each side. If they're not being used, you want them to get paid. And we'll talk about the releases too during the show, because I do want to get your guys' thoughts on that. But yeah, if you're not being used, let them people go make money or use their talents and their artistry how they see fit. And that's in any walk of life, not just wrestling, but absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that I'm so happy for Ricky, man, for real. Like they let him out, man. They finally let him out of jail, bro. Like this thing, what he had to deal with, and he did it the right way. That's what annoyed me. Like you could say whatever about Penta and Phoenix. You can make whatever argument you want to, right? But he did it the right way. Ricky did it the right way, and for him not to be utilized on TV and just be shunned, and then obviously when he had that interview, folks were kind of like, hating on him. But you got to eventually put your voice out there. You can't just be sitting back and letting somebody crap on you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for Ricky. I like the reaction he got from the NXT audience. It was amazing. It was amazing, and I just think that like he said, him being on NXT is the best fit right now, because that WWE roster is amazing. It's crazy. Like folks fighting for Mania. Look at the folks who fight for Mania. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like having Ricky at NXT, now it's gonna help out Obafemi. It's gonna help out Trick. I don't know how long Trick gonna be there, but it's gonna help out Trick, and that makes the men's division a lot better, because the NXT is run by the women. By far. Sure is. Like that is the women's game right there. But I do think it does help out. And to me, Ricky's just a star. It is what it is. I don't think it's going to take Ricky that long, because he's going to create a big buzz in NXT to a point when he gets to the main roster, he's going to be lit. So I just think this is the perfect place for Ricky Starks. I'm just happy for him. He gets the opportunity to show the world his ability, because this dude is a star, a flat out star.
Mm-hmm.
See, well, and I think the same exact way. He has no time but to hurry up and get to going.
See, we here. Look, we here.
So Melo got called up a year ago, or right about, a little less than. We know Trick is on deck. He's next.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
So 2030.
Who's gonna be the bigger star on the main roster? Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, or Ricky Starks?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Ricky. Ricky just got it all to me. I'm not going. I think Ricky just has it all. Has mic skills. He got ring ability. He has presence. You know what I mean? I like Carmelo a lot too. You know what I'm saying? And I like Trick. I think Trick's had to work on some things in ring. You know what I mean? I think in terms of like longevity as a longevity as a star, as a big star, you're gonna need some ring work to be. People make fun to talk about Roman, but Roman's pacing makes him great in the ring. His pacing makes him great. You don't need like 80 moves, but his pacing and his aura makes him great. But to me, in terms of right now, who has it all, I'm gonna have to go Ricky. Ricky just has it all.
So we got one for Ricky.
This is a great argument because I can see either all three of them being the top guys. I still think this
you think it's only between Melo and Trick. You already cut Ricky out of
I know, right?
You show it.
She about to fry me. Hey, she about to fry me. I can tell. Like she about to go in on me. I can tell.
I was just gonna say that I still feel like it's, and this is bad, but I feel like this is still a big man's game, and so I think I'm gonna still go with Trick Williams. Although today he's probably 3 on that list of names you just said, where I would probably put Carmelo, Tony, then Trick. But I think in 5 years from now, I think it's going to be Trick again, purely on size.
I think the right answer is all of them because they all have great. I think Carmelo, from a character standpoint, has really grown. Like his short spurts on the microphone and in the backstage segments on SmackDown, he's doing really good, man. I could see him getting better. And then, as I said, Ricky, I think he has all the tools. But I agree actually with Rhodesia. I think it is a big man's world because he's a big guy, and he has his charisma is all. I think they're all charismatic in their own way, but I feel like Trick's charisma is like on a whole another level. And like I know we had like a debate a couple of shows ago about is he ready from a work perspective to be up in the main roster, but at the same time, I think like as he starts working with the AJ Styles and and like just the veterans, you're going to pick up and you're going to learn and he's going to grow. Like we talk about Slop Cena, right? Like he was like, look, his ring work looks sloppy. Because that's from when he was green, he looks exactly the same way, right? But he learned psychology, he learned pacing, he learned a lot of different variables that can give a good match, right? So maybe Trick may not be the fanciest in the ring, but I'm sure he's going to learn pacing. He's going to learn how to tell a story, and that's all that really matters, right? Because what you can't teach somebody is the it factor. You can't teach somebody how to talk with a microphone, have charisma. Those are things that. That's true to that person. And it's like he has that on like 1,000. So I think just with him being so big, you know what I'm saying? He's a good looking guy. He's well spoken. He has it all, man. He's going to be a future star. I know we talked about maybe a year ago, like, why we don't have any, black man advantage. I think he's going to be there sooner than later.
That's amazing that it's 4 of us and we are kind of all different. Nobody mentioned Melo. I'm going to mention Melo. I think it's Carmelo Hayes.
I have Carmelo right now as number 1.
No, I'm talking about in 5 years.
Why you putting Obafemi? That's messed up. You didn't put the Nigerian out there? That's
he ain't there yet. Shout out to Obafemi.
Yeah.
They are doing that man perfectly. Continue to rock him out. Continue to not expose him. Give him what you're giving him. And he's going to be that deal on the main roster too. But I do think it's Melo. I think it's Melo because Ricky is very lean. Right, they may be I think Ricky may be taller than Carmelo, but Carmelo's got some size on him.
That's
so that's you. So you got to worry. So that's the part that I think is good for him. Of course, he can't get Trick size, but I think when Melo really gets going on the main roster, and I saw some people kind of bitching and moaning online this past weekend about just like his placement on where he's at on the card. He's always losing. He's not winning the big ones. And I get that to a certain extent, but the other part of that is, he's like one of the people that's on every single week.
Yeah, he's being used.
That's stocking that. If we ain't never known that before this Friday with those releases, they're stocking you being on TV every single week. So I think after Mania and then when they figure out, of course, the lay of the land a little bit more on who's getting the pushes this year and such, I think we see him really start to elevate. But in 5 years, if I had to pick one where I'm like, they're going to be in the co-main event of WrestleMania, I would go Carmelo 1. And then actually, I maybe even go Ricky Starks 2 and then Trick 3. And I'm big on Trick. I think Trick is going to be huge. But I just think those two guys, I mean, all three of them, but I think those two guys are really going to take this. Ricky's got to have a battery in his back. He has to.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were making fun of Rhodesia earlier, but she's right in regards to, we've been waiting for months for you to get released. We've been waiting for you longer than that to get pushed properly on television. He knows that. He sees that. So, to your point, it is showing proof time. So, he is going to have some pressure on him, but he's always stepped up to the plate. I don't think this would be any different.
I'm sorry.
No, you go.
And it's something about like having him being with Shawn Michaels though too. Like it's the perfect fit.
That's the other thing.
Like that's just perfect in terms of swag. Like they have similar swag. Just to have them two together and to learn from Shawn Michaels.
I was going to mention, it was a little bit off of what you was just, not what you're saying, Wole, but I remember about 10, 15 years ago, and Matt can attest to this because I used to be getting angry as hell. And I'm like, why are you always on my TV screen, always losing? And I remember Matt told me, and I challenged him, and you could tell he looked at me and just kind of shooed me off. He was like, well, they're on TV every week. And I'm like, well, I don't care, but they're losing. And he's like, but you still know that they exist. You still know their character. Even though they're a losing character, you still know who they are. They are still important to the whole. They've played their role to this whole game, which is that episode. And I used to be so pissed, like, no. But now being 10 years, 15 years removed from that and kind of going through my stages of a wrestling fan, I see that. And like you said, Matt, there's so much value in being the Miz, R-Truth in a sense, being even Carmelo Hayes, because you're showing that you are valuable. Right now you're losing, but you're still valuable. So I just wanted to kind of bring that back up because I just remember being pissed so long ago, like, this is not cool. Why aren't you pushing? And you always said there's only a spot at the top for a couple people to be good and big. But other than that, it's just a whole full circle moment for me just seeing it. And with those releases, some good people left, and we'll talk about it, or got let go, but they weren't important to the show and the product that we were getting at this time.
Perfect timing. Let's get right to it. We wasn't going to lead with it, but we are here. So they released 10. This is the first time I'm actually looking at it in totality. So they released 10 wrestlers on Friday. And that was actually like during SmackDown, which was interesting. Their timing is always interesting to me a little bit. But we had Authors of Pain. We had Paul Ellering, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, and the Good Brothers. That was everybody that was released this past Friday. My question to you guys, out of that list, what's the one, if you had to pick and you said they got that one wrong, which one is it? So once again, it was Authors of Pain, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, and the Good Brothers.
I think Rhodesia's right. No one really cares. Not to be mean about it.
Oh, shit. Wait.
I mean, their lives. I mean, in terms of their lives, yeah, it sucks to lose a gig. But in terms of the show, none of those individuals had true impact. That Sonya Deville, that stable wasn't working for nobody. They were trying, but it wasn't working. You know what I mean? Once they separated, what's his name?
Giovanni
Vinci.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't doing anything unless you bring them back together. So, like, at the end of the day, to be real with you, it really, I mean, it sucks. Everybody on social media always cries when somebody gets released, but truth be told, you ain't care about them for real. So
Dude,
it don't even matter. They keep it being.
Talk about it. That was one thing I was going to have to bring up, man. And to your point, of course, anybody who's listened to us, they know where our hearts are at. We don't want anybody losing their job, but that's part of life. Yeah. And the good thing for them losing their job is this is not, Rhodesia, to use your point earlier, it's not 15 years ago.
Facts. Where
it was the only game in town. There's not much on the indies. That is not the case now. Now it's more of, no, you don't want to ever lose your job from that top company. Mm-hmm. But it's more of, you go to WWE, just get your face out there. Make yourself known. So when the time does come and you're not here, because nobody's there forever, even if it's because you retired, but you still probably want to do something to stay active after you retire. You can do meet and greets, whatever that looks like, podcasts. But everybody who was released, this is not released during COVID time period. Mm-hmm. You can go out there right now, MTNA, AEW, the Indies, it's so many viable spots now to make a lot of money. And actually, I just looked down. To hell with USA Today. They forgot about my girl Elektra Lopez. She was my number one.
Yeah, I'm
by
sorry.
far.
That's the one. I
Future main
apologize.
eventer. She
That's
should have been
the
in the
one.
main event this year in WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2. That's how I felt. I'll be damned.
Got
But
it.
yeah, like everybody who just gets online and then it's like, oh, it's a travesty. Blair Davenport got let go. She was the future. And it was a couple. I got so irritated Friday night. I had a little bit of time. I was sitting there watching SmackDown. SmackDown's over, and I'm seeing a lot of that. Once again, I get it, but you're doing it more for yourself for attention than you are that said person. So I went on, and you know how you can search people's Twitter's account?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
So like you go on their page, you can hit like the magnifying glass, and you can search like a tweet on their page.
Nope, didn't know that.
Okay, so I started seeing people talking about Davenport. I started seeing people talk about Authors of Pain. You guys know I'm big on Authors of Pain, but just the people who they're making a big deal like you just let go of Roman Reigns. I went on their Twitter page and I searched the tweets.
Nothing for them, huh?
And ironically, there wasn't many, if any, tweets talking about those folks positively. Now you could argue and say, well, because they haven't done much on television, and I would say, touche. And maybe that's also why they got released. But in all seriousness, the one name for me is Isla Dawn. She is one that I thought she was one that had kind of everything. She had the look, she could work. So I was surprised by that one.
I really wasn't surprised. I mean, we go through this every year, right? Every year we go through these, and sometimes you get a second round in the summertime of releases. So none of this really surprised me. And like you said, we're at a point now where they're not doing this for the money. Maybe Punk will tell you that because where he at in his career now, they do this for the love and the sport itself. So they can go out and find work in this business. But I would probably say Sonya. But to your point, Wole, I probably was the only one who really cared about PFC. Matt said he would never even say that group's name. It's like, so they just never was over. But that probably just the most surprise because we were seeing her every week, every other week on TV. But other than that, I guess this is part of the game. Good luck in their future endeavors, but let this be the time you go hone in on your craft and get better. If this is something you want to do, because your name could still be out there. And then when the time is right, you can come back. Think about the people who did come back. Your Chelsea Green, your Drew McIntyre, they came back and look what they've done. They're not at the top of their game. So it's just because they're gone today doesn't mean that's the end of their wrestling career and their stop at WWE. This is just one pit stop in their whole career. So and I'm quite sure they probably feel that way too, because I've seen some of their tweets to their fans. Hopefully they believe what they're saying. This is just a detour in their life.
Yeah, I mean, first I want to say, good luck to everybody in their future endeavors, right? I'm sure they're going. I hope everyone lands on their feet and find peace, love, and happiness. The real talk. But to be honest, I'm with Wole, man. Like them dudes and them gals. Isla Dawn, she ain't happy since she came into the roster. Like they ain't had nothing for her really. Like her whole gimmick with the Alba Fire. And I'm surprised Alba Fire was on that list. Like the laughing girls, the witch. I didn't really get it. They didn't do anything memorable. Honestly, I don't think either one of them did much memorable in NXT as well. I like the way Isla Dawn looked, to be honest with you. So I was going to give her a chance. But aside from that, Sonya Deville, I think she's a good personality. So I was surprised he couldn't find something for her to do. But at the end of the day, if they're paying her a good wage and they got to bring girls up like Roxanne and set her up to the main roster, maybe you got to cut like, we don't have something meaningful for her. I don't have a personality role for her. We're going to go ahead and cut her. I heard there was some chatter about they're switching from the WWE old contracts to the to TKO new contracts.
Okay.
Right. And so that might have something to do with it. With Elektra Lopez. I mean, she looks great. But aside from her looking great, what does she really do in the ad? Like a whole lot. I mean, not a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Especially doing these 3-hour SmackDowns, brother.
Oh, man, look. But
it's 10 minutes.
It's so many beautiful women on that show, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, if she, like, I don't know about her ring work. I'm not a ring work guy. So, like, whatever to that. But from a manager perspective, I don't know if she really adds anything. Arthur Payne's, why do you even bring them back? Like the same thing with the Good Brothers, man. They can continue to underperform on another show. Like you keep bringing these people and you keep slotting them in the same spots, and you're gonna keep getting the same results. Like AOP didn't do anything when they were there before. all right, you might say is Vince was there, but they should have been right up Vince's alley. He still didn't do anything with them. Hey, Triple H gets them back, right? Because that was his team in NXT, and he didn't do shit with them either. So, like, I don't really get like why they brought some of these guys back. They're going to slot them in the same role. But hey, they got paid for a couple of years. That's great because AOP, I think, was paid for like a whole year before they even came back on the main roster. So that's something. But look, I'm as a business people, we get it. Like, if you're not using people or you don't have something for people to do, all right, at some points it's best for business for both, right? Let you go ahead. Hey, you're still young. Step out and like rebrand yourself, right? And maybe again you can come back, right? And until then, we can reallocate those funds to some of the future because, like in NXT, they're not paying those guys a hefty wage to work down there, right? So once they get to the main roster, they're going to expect raises and things of that nature. So you got to reallocate the funds. So hopefully this works out better. But this isn't like that. I think it was 2021 when Vince just went crazy and like gutted the entire NXT roster. Like Chelsea Green, for instance, like there was no, like Chelsea Green had it back then and they barely gave her a shot. Then you get rid of Aleister Black. They got rid of so much talent in 2021. Keith Lee, they just opened the floodgates to AEW. Say, hey, here's all these great talented people, y'all. Go ahead and sign whoever you want. Like, right? And AEW just ate it up and why not? Like, right? Like, these are talented individuals. I don't think that's the case this time, right? I think some of these guys are going to have to go and rebrand themselves to make them valuable again because I don't really see any of them really landing in AEW or anywhere else and making a big splash as is. I could see maybe Cedric going to join the Hurt Syndicate, like, right? But I got to be honest with you, though, or like you're watching too, like, they don't really need them. Like, them three brothers is doing it over there.
They don't need him. I agree with you. They don't need him, but I think they have it. It's going to be nostalgic, right? It's just going to remind you of what we saw. Just having, and for me, I'm going to want it. Have all them brothers together again, man. Like, they didn't get the respect they deserve. I get them all together just for me, personally, just saying like a black 4 horsemen type of stable. I thought that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So I just want them all together. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they didn't get the flowers they should have had. They should have went against the Bloodline. They should have had that type of run. Now we get to have them in another promotion, obviously, but at least let them get their flowers together. You know what I'm saying? That's why I want him over there.
For sure. But like, I don't know now's a good time to switch over to AEW. But when I saw these releases, I'm like, man, why can't TK be a good businessman? And if you got some people that you're not using, let them dudes go. I mean, I guess you're a billionaire, and I guess when money doesn't matter to you, you're just gonna hog talent and not use them. But like, let these dudes go if you ain't got nothing for them. Like, why you got all these people on the channel like Ray Phoenix and Ricky Starks, and you're not using them? Let them go, right? And then we get the news that they don't let people go.
You brought up Chelsea Green. Shout out to Chelsea Green. Everybody knows how much we love her. She quote tweeted us. We clipped up the video of us talking about her, and she quote tweeted and she said, and I didn't even have to bribe them to say nice things about me. True beloved champion I am. So shout out to Chelsea. She knows we love her. But the reason why I brought that up is because I have a question for Wole and E. We were watching on Rhodesia and I on Max, the Diddy documentary. And there was a lady on there who shared her story about what happened to her at one point. And then at the end, like when you watch documentaries, it'll give you like the breakdown. It'll say we reached out to whoever and didn't have, they said we'll see our day in court or whatever the case may be. After she goes on and talks about what happened to her, it's the end of the episode, and then they show the black screen, and then they write something to the effect of, she, according to documents, the friend that was with her, she said that the girl who just got done talking bribed her to go along with the story. And we haven't heard back from the friend. So Rhodesia and I probably had like a 45-minute conversation that night because I said, whenever you use the word bribe, that should have a negative connotation to it, right? Like, it means that like you're just going along, like you're going along with the lie, or you're going along with whatever we did that was illegal. And she brought up, of course, that a bribe is just taking money for doing something. It could be good or bad. And I just said, bribe is never a positive thing. So I'm asking you two, have you guys ever heard of a bribe where it wasn't negative? It wasn't cheating somebody out of money. It wasn't hurting somebody, and everything was on up and up.
I'm Nigerian. All bribes are like negative.
See?
Come on. I mean, I'm coming from. I mean, hey, bribes are meant to be scammed. That's all I look at. It's meant to be hustled. That's how I look at it.
E, have you ever heard it in a positive light?
No, I know, but I guess I bribe. Ashley Katrina just bribed my oldest son, just recently
To probably do something good, right?
to do something good, right? So we have a hard time getting him to get on his homework, right?
Okay.
And so during the week, he loves having his iPad. He's like these games he like to play on there. So she said, "Hey, if you come home, take your shower, knock out your homework, I'll give you an hour of tablet time a day." So he comes home, and this little boy, when I get home, he smells like roses. You know what I'm saying? He walk by me, he'll run by, "Hey, daddy," and he'll come give me a hug. And I just smell the soap and everything just hitting my nostrils. You know what I'm saying? "Daddy, I knocked out my homework. Math's done. I'm about to go ahead and do my 15 minutes of reading. Bye." Okay, cool. So I asked Katrina, what happened? It's like, "Oh, I told him that, if he, takes a shower and he knocks out his homework, by 6:00, that I'll give him an hour of tablet time." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So in that case,
Okay, yeah.
it is a bribe,
Yeah.
but it was for something good, right?
Then I do that a lot. Then I tell my nephew when I'm called, "Hey, you gonna give me 10 points, bro? I give you a bag of Skittles." And he loves Skittles.
Yeah.
So I give you a bag of Skittles. You give me 10, 15 points. He's
He give you 12.
so it don't matter. So he gets hype. So yeah, I guess I bribe
All
in a
right.
positive way.
I mean, and I didn't think about those at that time. So because the reason why I thought about it was we had just had that long conversation. That was on Thursday night. Then we got that tweet, and somebody up under that tweet said, "So wait, you've bribed people before?" And I just showed Rhodesia. I was like, "See, that's negative. It's always negative." But you guys brought up two good points. So we were talking about the releases, and then of course news comes out. Hell, I can't keep up now. Either yesterday or today. We already talked about Ricky Starks, but Aleister Black, which is Malaki Black in WWE, and Miro was let out of their AEW contract. They're good to go. Well, Aleister's contract actually ended, I think, on Saturday or Sunday, so he didn't get released. But Miro got released, and of course, we know for a fact Ricky Starks got released. What's your guys' thoughts on those three? I think we all are in agreement all three will be in WWE, correct? Or I should say two now, with Miro and Aleister Black. Both of them be back. Wouldn't you say?
I know Aleister Black's going to be in WWE. I'm pretty confident. I would think Miro will be. I'm just not sure how he's going to be used. I'm trying to figure out, is there room for him to be successful? That's my question for him. With the state of the WWE now, I'm just not sure. I think Aleister Black will be great regardless. I think he's just too good of a talent, to be honest with you. But Miro, I'm going to be interested. I'm really interested to see if Miro can kind of go through the waters in the WWE now, because the talent is just it's unreal. It's unreal. So I'm interested to see what his decision making will be.
I'm going to echo that sentiment for sure, Aleister Black. But for Rusev Miro, I'm not going to say that, yes, we're going to see him in WWE right now. And when I mean right now, I mean even just this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to retire. I don't even know that man's life, sorry to that man, but I don't see him in WWE right now, just at all. Probably not even NXT. Now, if he wants to go somewhere else, I could probably see that. But again, it's just, we're going to then end up getting to that same way of what AEW went through, and they hired and picked up all these contracts that was now no longer. And then now you just have a whole bunch of people in your locker room with no vision for them.
So Miro, I'm in agreement with you guys. I don't know where Miro fits. I think there's a place for him where he's talented, man. I really loved his Redeemer character that he had in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I thought once he got out of the friendship with Kip, he got his own. He did the Redeemer thing. I thought that was really great television. I would like to see a version of that on WWE TV, but I just wonder where the fallout happened in AEW. right? Because there was room for that character, like right, like he's kind of a big man ish, especially for AEW, right? And things seem to be going well for a long time. Then you heard the rumblings that he didn't like some of the storylines and etc. Then he got injured, and it is. I just wonder what the fallout was, because some people are reporting right from the dirty booty sheets that it was he liked the creative, he wanted to do jobs. And so when he go to WWE, goddamn it, you doing some jobs, like right. But at the same time, like like I feel like if he comes in with that redeemer character, like he can't do too many jobs, then you lose some of the mystique of that character.
So real quick, E, I can tell you for a 99% certainty, he had a problem if creative wasn't right. I know 99.9% with certainty that he really took himself and his presentation seriously,
as he should.
I agree with him though. I took
so that was I don't know about the Tony Khan piece of it where he just completely shelved him, but I do know that's how he is. And to then us talking this through, maybe we don't see him then soon, because to what you just said, you're not coming in here like you're not about to go undefeated.
Hell no.
In WWE, like this is not that. Even if you come back as Rusev and we redo Rusev Day and we get you just as over as it was, you're going to have to lose. But I think probably what Rusev's issue is, and I think this is an issue with some of the wrestlers that have had issues in AEW if they've been somewhere else. And it's not about wins and losses. It is what's the story. So we're working this match tonight for what? And I'm willing to bet you he just probably really, really, really challenged Tony Khan on a numerous occasions of, okay, so we do this, then what are we doing next? And I think Tony Khan just got fed up and was like, I don't need this shit. Like, I got 50 other guys I can book on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm good without using them.
And that makes sense to you when you work under leadership, like when you work under, even if you didn't agree with the leadership and the organization, you knew if it was ran well or not, right? So he knows the right way of doing things. When he goes there and he feel like things are loosey-goosey, some people just don't thrive in that type of environment, in a loose environment, right? They need things to make sense. But what I was going to say, maybe he can go to NXT, because like, look, we said it, the NXT men's roster is weak, right? Maybe he goes to NXT, for maybe 6 months to 8 months, right? To after Mania, and he goes there and he just dominates. He's that character. He dominates, and he's dominating to build to eventual monster versus monster match with him and Oba Fenny.
Him and Oba?
Yep.
Man, I take my money. I'm down for that.
And for me, Oba wins, right? And then that's when Rusev goes off to one of the other rosters, right? I feel like maybe that's the world. If they want to bring him in now, that's what you can do. But Malaki, Aleister, whatever you want to call him, I mean, look, there's a slot for that character right now, and I can't wait to see it, man. Goddamn, I just, I really wish he could have brought the entire House of Black with him, man. Can you imagine the House of Black with that WWE presentation? Them adding that flavor to the whole thing.
Let's talk about it, though.
It would have been
Let's
beautiful
talk about it. Outside of Judgment Day, has WWE, I guess, never mind, because we got to look just like the last 3 or 4 years. We can't go traditionally WWE, like it's a completely different company now, creatively. I was going to say, outside of Judgment Day and what the Bloodline was doing, have we ever seen a trios or like a 4-person group like really get over to the level we want them to? Didn't work with the Hurt Business. It didn't work with whatever
Wyatt
the Bobby,
Six.
The Wyatt Six is kind of, I think, they got to figure that out a little bit. Has there been one that we were just like, yeah, they nailed that?
I thought they nailed the Hurt Business. I think Vince just screwed them, but I thought they were over, but they didn't get a chance to do. They didn't get a chance to do it after COVID, after the pandemic.
Never stuck the landing.
They never gave them a chance. You know what I mean? Like they killed them off right before the crowd came through. Like I would like to see them with the crowd and see how over they could have been. You know what I mean? Like I felt like they never gave them that opportunity. But to your point, nah, maybe just Bloodline. To be real with you, I'm trying to think. Like I don't think there's a stable that other than the Bloodline and you, like you mentioned, a Judgment Day, that I can honestly say like they were over.
And just ran it the way we would want
Yeah.
House of Black to run it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
Nope.
Nah, I just wish we could have saw it, man.
Yeah.
I know Buddy had renewed a year ago or so. I'm sure. I don't know. I think Brody King might have a couple more years. So it is what it is, man. But I would, man, all three of those dudes with that WWE presentation, that creative direction, man, and it's just, damn it. TK, man. Like, you know what, in Roll, I didn't really get to follow with you because we had to keep the show moving, though. But when you mentioned AEW got you back into wrestling, it brought a lot of people back into wrestling. It actually, well, NXT was doing it for me, to be honest with you. Like, but when AEW came along, it really, really, really gave me more hope and energy for wrestling. Because I was like, if it wasn't my friendship with Matt, I probably would have stopped watching a long time ago too. WWE was just that bad to me. I felt like I was just trying to hold on to something that was I felt like was like, it was like, you've been in a relationship where you trying to make it work out with the woman. You know what I'm saying? You trying to make it work. Yeah, you trying to make it work. You know what I'm saying? But this ain't working, right? And that's what I felt like with WWE and wrestling for me. I feel like I'm trying to make it work. I feel like I'm trying more than they are trying. And I was getting sick. So NXT came along, awesome. AEW came along, amazing, right? But you look at AEW in that first couple years, like first of all, Cody Rhodes, one of the top three most over actions of all of wrestling. They had this man on their show, gone. CM Punk had that man, gone. You had Aleister Black, Malaki Black, hot. At one point, they were super hot. Or Malaki Black was super hot, you know what I'm saying? And that was in a feud with Cody.
Yeah.
And they never did anything with them. So, right? I mean, and now you're going to look at, Ricky Starks potentially, like who could have been a major fixture on that show. Man, it's just a laundry list of like talent that they had that they just let slip through their grasp to go to WWE to continue to build that brand up. Because like the way WWE's going right now with the talent that they keep adding into the pipe, like it's gonna be amazing. Can you think about it like this? You look at it like for the future's bright. They got like as these guys start continuing to age out, like you got AJ Styles who's like 55 years old. Like when he's ready to walk away, we done saw on Raw the future and the past, right, staring at each other. Like, right, you got Brian walking right up to the man, right? So when dudes like that slide out, you got, Braun Breaker and company ready to slide right into it. It's a shame what they did over in AEW.
But it is a different setup in AEW. AEW is about the matches right now. They're not building for the future, right? Like WWE has their pipeline. Like AEW is set up to where you're not used somewhere else. Come on over here. We'll use you. So they're always going. That's their business model. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say Tony kind of said that years ago. Like there's going to be talent that's on the indies that get released from WWE. I
remember that. Yeah.
There's going to be a home for them if they're good. If we want them, if they want to be here, so they're good as long as WWE is doing their job, right? Like the AFL is always going to be good because the NFL does a great job of recruiting and stocking talent from the collegiate level. And I think maybe the same thing is with that. But to your point about Malaki, one of the things I'm more excited about is to see Triple H know he needs to get this one right. Penta has been done perfectly. And there was rumors, which I don't really believe them. I think Meltzer said this. I damn sure don't believe it. But it was rumors it was rumors that people in AEW, and I think they may have even said Lucha talent in AEW, were looking at WB a little bit differently with how they treated Penta in a positive way. Like, hey, okay, maybe that is an option. I don't believe that because I think word gets around and they can talk to people about how they're being treated and how it is over there, but take that for face value. Malaki / Aleister Black is the next one that has to get right. Triple H knows how much we loved that character and him in NXT and what he had in NXT. So then for him to be cutting promos for 2 months in a damn closet and then get fired that same week, they know, okay, this is another one that we got to nail. I just want that music and I want that entrance. Like we can figure out everything else after that. But if I see him pop up like he used to with that same music, yeah, and I'm here for it.
Isn't Paul Heyman a big Malaki fan?
I'm sure he is, man.
Yeah, I think I heard something he is. So I feel like he's going to be set up perfectly. I don't think Malachi's going to have an issue at all. I think he's going to be slotted. Obviously, like he'll start probably at the wherever he's on. If he's on Raw or SmackDown, Intercontinental title or U.S. title. Initially, he'll be slotted in that thing ASAP, and then eventually, hopefully, he'll be able to be a main eventer down the road. I'm with you all. I think he has a boatload of talent. Just like E said, when he came on AEW, bro, when he was so over. I think it started the whole he was cheered and Cody was booed and he was the
Yes,
heel.
sir.
Yep.
So
I think that started it too.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what started, right? E? That's what started the whole
I think that's what started.
starting to boo Cody.
They
Cody
started,
type of thing. So to me, Tony messed up with Malachi. At least now I feel like he's over. He's over. And his presentation's over. His ring work is awesome. He's got it. Whatever it is, he has it.
Yep.
They can, and yeah, for the nerds like us, it's going to hit. Maybe it's not mainstream. But imagine the first time they go face to face, Cody and Malachi, and they reference that.
Because now they can actually acknowledge what happened before WWE.
Exactly.
We actually hear on commentary they had a past.
Man, Cole don't give a damn no more. I think last week Cole gave AEW Collision results on the air. I was like, what are we doing right now, Cole? Cole gives it up. He don't care if it's NJPW, TNA, Impact.
Man.
He don't. Am I lying? He don't give a damn, man.
Yeah. He mentioned AJ Styles TNA championship.
Hell
What are we doing,
yeah.
Michael? What we doing, Mike?
Hey,
Yes,
but let's
sir.
think about on Aleister though. His presentation, when they turn those lights off and he appears, it's gonna go crazy, correct? Because no one in WWE does that. Because for a time period in AEW, they just turn the lights off for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they turned off the lights for me. I went to go to my seat one day, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was getting that treatment, man. So that presentation for Malachi is gonna be a sight to see. I can't wait to see the production behind his eventual return. I was kind of surprised. I forgot about him during the Rumble. It was so action packed, and we talked. It was so good, and we didn't even mention on the show. We thought possibly he might pop up in the Rumble.
Oh, I thought so.
But it was so action packed, we didn't even think about him. So whenever he slots, it'd be interesting because I don't know if they have a big show coming up. They haven't really hinted towards him like they did Penta. So it'll be interesting whenever he does pop up on there.
I think the best time for him would probably be now, just the way things are playing out. It's probably the Raw after Mania.
Hell no. Get him on that show now, brother. Get him on SmackDown
So
Friday. Have you watched outside of last week's 3-hour SmackDown? Dude, these shows are not good, man. You get that man.
Hell no. He said that thing quick.
You get that man this Friday on that show. Hour 1, have Ricky already come up. You put him on hour 2. And Phoenix, I don't know, Phoenix, you got to shoot somebody to evidently get out your contract, brother.
But then he's going to go to jail. So he's going to still add time onto his
Phoenix,
time of coming.
had a hype man take his charge.
Man, y'all see that SpongeBob gif where I think it's what's the squid guy?
Squidward.
My kids. Is it Squidward?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching out the window, and Patrick and SpongeBob are skipping. And Ray's, that's Ray, man. He's like, damn, Ricky, you let Ricky and Miro out? What about me? What about me?
I know he pissed.
Yeah, he just
You
felt
know
terrible.
he is, man.
I know he pissed.
You know
I know he saw Sean Rock. He saw Fightful. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not on this list.
wait. He translated it to Spanish to look to see if he saw Phoenix.
I would really love to ask Tony Khan what's his reasoning for keeping Ray hostage. Right? Because we talk. It's one of the things we love about AEW and TK in general is he's a wrestling fan like us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Good dude, believes the business. Unlike Vince, who was we thought he just was a scumbag. He didn't care about us. He didn't care about the hardcore fan. All he cared about was the company making money. TK cared about us, the fans. Right? He was a good guy. Right? When you think about what he's doing to Ray, it just seems like a very spiteful thing that he's doing to that man. Right?
And because he's not using them. If he was using them,
he's
was
paying
losing
them
every week.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Right, no problem.
Yeah, I mean he's paying the man cool, but you're just sitting this man at home so he can rot in purgatory for almost a year just to keep him off WWE TV. But at the end of the day, he knows from a business perspective that's not hurting WWE. They gonna keep that shit moving.
Yeah.
That's just hurting Ray.
Yep.
That's hurting Ray and his stock. So why particularly would you do that to an individual? Because that seems very we talk about how evil Vince McMahon was. That seemed like small Vince type shit.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
it's really he's petty. That's all. He's petty.
Yeah.
And I think you got to set up as a business. I've taken the opposite stand on this before on the show. I'm not saying it's right. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying on the level of he'll set a precedence. I mean, Malaki Black been wanting to be gone for what, a year and a half now. I'm not gonna say he faked his illness. He didn't fake it. Well, I don't know, but there was a whole issue where there was maybe a mental thing with him or something that his wellness was in question a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, that we thought maybe he would be able to leave his contract, and he couldn't leave his contract. I just think that Tony is just setting a precedent that, hey, just because you want to get out, I'm not going to let you get out unless I want you to get out. Because if I let you get out, then I'm going to have to let everybody else out of their contract. And I just think that's what, as a business person, that is just what he's doing. Do I agree with it? No,
but no, because
not
he's
fully.
not being used. Like if he's not being used,
but he's still paying him.
But I agree with everything you said, Rudy, because you got to put your foot down. But he extended this dude's contract for a whole nother year
and not using him.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Yeah,
bring him to TV every week, like I said, have him job. But use him. So from a business perspective, that's a waste of money. You're spending money for something that you're not using.
Right, and then you extended the contract to not use him. That's not setting a precedent.
No, I wouldn't like to be, because I think this happened on John on his way out, Moxley. I don't want to be a fan of somebody who is being used and just being jobbed. I also don't want that. Now, again, I can't speak for the wrestler because they probably want to be able to show their face on TV. But if I'm a wrestling fan, I don't want to see my person who I know is on their way out being on TV every day getting jobbed out. I don't want to see that. If that's the case, pay for them to stay at home.
But well, I only brought up that because you said from a business perspective. Yeah. Business-wise, that doesn't make sense. You're paying talent, not using them. In no business, that makes sense.
Well, maybe in his simple mind is he's keeping him away from the competition.
So Rhodesia's on one. So we figured out today that you do not like now you don't actually, you let it slip. I don't think you also like Aleister Black either. I think you just let that slip, and then you just called Tony Khan simple. You said that man stupid.
I like that.
Simple-minded.
Simple-minded.
Okay.
I like that though.
But I will say this: typically, what happens? But typically, like if like, all right, for instance, when like a wrestler's out of, like they're not going to resign or whatnot. Mm-hmm. They typically do do the job. Like even if you look, I mean, I think Kevin Nash, when he knew he was leaving, he told Vince when he knew he was leaving, WWE, he was like, I'll job for whoever. For certain people he went job for. I'll job for certain people. He knew like I'm gonna leave, so I'll put somebody over on my way out. Ricochet did that for
Braun Breaker.
Breaker. Like it's kind of tradition in wrestling to like job to put somebody over. You know what I'm saying? Like so if Phoenix is on his way out, then job to somebody, get somebody over. Like get the young dude for Hook. Put Hook over. Let Phoenix job for Hook. That's a younger dude. Like if you take advantage of that name, like take advantage of that name of Phoenix being one of the best wrestlers in the world, for him to put one of these young dudes over. If we're just gonna have him sit, you're doing yourself a disservice, because now that's a young talent you could uplift.
And what I would do, and what I would do too,
down, let him chill.
What I would do, Wole, I would play it against the internet. So let's use Phoenix in particular. Mm-hmm. Have him show up Wednesday, right? Because nobody likes his damn Moxley storyline anyway. Have him show up during a Death Riders promo. Of course, crowd goes crazy. He challenges Moxley and says, "One of us has got to go," or something to that effect. If I lose next week, I'll leave and never show my face in AEW again. Everybody's going to think he's going to lose. If I can put the title on him, he wins it. If he's there for another year, use that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just whatever. Last thing before we move on to the WrestleMania build, I want to talk to you guys about that because it's getting a lot of interesting thoughts and comments online. And typically, of course, I don't speak on personal business or relationships in wrestling. I feel like, hey, they want us to know, they want us to know. This one, though, this said person showed us today on social media.
What's happening?
That's Andrade.
What's happening?
Andrade, 13 hours ago, posted a picture with him and a little kid and says, 4th generation Andrade family. Then he quote tweeted it a few hours later and said, "Time to enjoy the world, dad and son." I'm going to show you guys this photo right here, just in case you haven't seen it yet. Okay. That was today. Did Andrade have a kid and he didn't tell nobody?
I'm sorry, I missed the entire thing that you just said. He said 13 hours ago he posted something.
Yes. The camera went out. It was the picture of Andrade and this little kid. That picture right there.
How old? Okay.
We don't know. That's my question.
Okay.
He's been married to Charlotte since I think 2022 or 2021. They've been together before that, of course. Ain't nobody know Andrade had a kid until this morning. Did Andrade pull an Aubrey? Did he hide the world from his kid?
Wait, okay. Do we know that this is his kid?
He said on the tweet, first tweet was 4th-generation Andrade family. The next tweet said, time to enjoy the world, dad and son.
He said Dan originally. D-A-N.
Yeah, he did. Yep. And he fixed it.
Oh man.
Wow. Dang. That's some. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not burying my own culture. That's the stuff we be doing. But wow. Oh wow. Yeah, I can definitely see that. You know what I mean? You know, hiding the kid, stashing the kid. I can see it, and that makes sense now to why Charlotte and him are. That makes a lot of sense. Dang, Andrade.
Doesn't it?
That's how we going.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, because the kid look about like 2 or 3.
They've been dating for. I mean, dating.
They've been dating for at least about 3 or 4 years.
I got the little kid at like I got him definitely older than 2.
Even if he's
I got him
Between 2 and
anywhere
4.
between
2 and
3.
4.
I would even go 6. I would even go
Alright,
the
that
longest
was
6.
Because you know my little man's 6. He's bigger than that.
Okay, so were you going 4? Most 4? Max 4?
At max I'm going 4.
So we're going max 4, and they got married in 2022.
And they was dating for a minute.
But
They was dating
before
for
that.
a minute.
Right.
So
Yep.
I just wanted to bring that up because,
So Ric Flair
like I
in
said, he
corner
opened
anymore?
up
That's messed up.
because then there was a little bit of a worry of did he get released or did he quit? Because it said time to enjoy the world, dad and son. So then some people were taking it as, oh, was he one of the people that got released? I don't think it's been talked about at all. So maybe not, or maybe so. But that also would make sense why Charlotte's on SmackDown. If he gets released, there's a lot to that.
That's messed up.
There's
Okay,
lots of that.
yeah. Y'all jumping the gun. He's definitely his son. If you son the Dan and son, he absolutely meant to say dad and son. This kid looks like he's about 5.
But that's still around, right?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
very okay. So that's
So that's
2020,
5,
right?
So, but I mean, he would have had to, if he did it the natural way, impregnated the other woman probably around almost
Oh, he
6
did
years
it the
ago.
natural way. He was natural.
I'm sure he did it the natural way. You said the natural way.
Because I'm not just going to assume that
Andrade
people are
ain't
having
worried
sex.
about the
They
next
could
generation that way. He trying
they
to
could do
get
in
to that.
vitro and sperm collection. Maybe we don't know. Maybe Charlotte wanted to have a kid but didn't want to have it biologically at the moment. We don't know that whole story. So that's why I'm not going to get involved with that. But
Okay.
this kid is absolutely about 5. So the mama was impregnated probably around 6 years ago.
Rhodesia, you nice. You so nice. You so nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
She knows she don't believe that. She know that little boy 3 years old.
Yeah, he's small. He's probably about 4.
Damn.
Hey,
Thoughts
but
and prayers.
but look, he looks just like no lie from this side angle. He looks like little Dominic. Look at him.
Oh,
Mm.
don't do that.
Thoughts and prayers, man. All right.
Jerry Springer stuff. It's terrible.
Right. So now let's actually get to like the show. I don't even know if I think everything we just talked
What
about
show?
in that first hour.
I'm about to tap out. What show we talking about?
Yo.
All right. WrestleMania build. So we got Jey Uso and Gunther's official. That happened on Raw. Everything else is in flux. I'm sure all of you have seen the not so positive messages and tweets on social media about WrestleMania.
Nope.
I do not have my cape on for WWE, but you would fucking swear WrestleMania is this Saturday. The way people are acting about the card, the build-up. I don't know. It just ain't hitting the way it was hitting last year. I don't know. I'm not feeling the road to WrestleMania. One, The Rock's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? But outside of that, it just started. They have a stadium show to sell in 2 or 3 weeks. We don't even know the matches to that yet. And then I see all of this, man, like the card, it was so easy, but they're like nothing. They're not doing anything right. Triple H can't book all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden this whole thing, and I am one of the bigger biggest Io Shirai fans in the world.
Shirai,
Okay.
you called it back.
Let alone Io Sky. But this whole thing of she has to main event with Rhea at WrestleMania because what? For what? Are we willing to sacrifice Bianca and Rhea, which is a dream match, for Io? And there's a problem with her getting her title match a week after Elimination Chamber. So maybe I am by myself in this sentiment, but it feels like these wrestling fans, and these are typically like the more positive fans typically for WWE and wrestling. So these aren't just the everything is bad type thing. I feel like they feel the build has been bad because they can't call it. I think wrestling fans think they always got to know what's going to happen. And last year we knew it was going to be Cody and Roman. We knew that for a whole year after WrestleMania 39, right? You knew Cody was going to get the belt the next year. The year before that, there was no twists and turns. Cody wins the Rumble. Okay, this is what it is. And he's going to win the championship and whatever the case may be. You can't call anything on this card right now. And I think that's a positive thing. It'd be different if TV has sucked for the last 2 months and we're like, they don't even know what they're doing. It's been so bad. I don't think that. I think in your guys' mind, if you're one of these folks, and shout out to y'all, we still love y'all, but if you had it in your mind that it was going to be John Cena versus Gunther, and there was nothing on television that it showed you that was going to be that, that's on you. If you just completely had it in your mind, it was going to be Rhea Ripley and Io just because of their little tiff a week ago, that is completely on you. If you had in your mind it was going to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins again, and it may be that, and that's not what you're getting, that's on you. So what are your guys' thoughts about the build so far? And we can look at it for the last 2 weeks. If you want to go farther than that, you can, but has this build to WrestleMania, and we got 8 weeks left, been lacking for you guys?
It's been fine to me. It's early. I don't look at it like, I think to your point, last year was different. We're talking about we're getting hype for Cody Roman. That's a mega match, right? That's just different. And there's a lot of elements. You just mentioned The Rock, and truth be told, that's the only person I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for The Rock. You know what I mean? Like,
so what you got it at? We asked last week if you had to put a percentage on it. Are you still holding out hope you getting Rock and Roman at this WrestleMania?
30% right now.
No, 30. That's still a lot,
dude.
That's a lot.
That's much higher.
I was at 80 for a while. Maybe I was ignorant, but I was at 80 for a while. But every time, every pay-per-view, every PLE hit, I was like, "Damn, you ain't showing up, dude. This is what you doing to me." Then Royal Rumble hurt my soul. Like I was crushed. Royal Rumble crushed me. Not crushed me. So now,
okay, so you got it at 30% now. So you have it at 30%. Yeah. Just last question on it. Yeah. Has that number changed from last week's Raw to this week's Raw?
Definitely changed. It keeps changing every week.
So it keeps dropping. Is it dropping about 5%, 10%? What?
Every week.
You hurting his feelings, Matt. Stop asking.
So at the end of Elimination Chamber, at the end of the Elimination Chamber, when he don't come out to be special guest referee and put himself over so he gets in the championship match, at the end of Elimination Chamber, if The Rock does not show up, what is the percentage?
He's still giving 5.
You ain't no one I need final boss, bro.
No way out. No way out. He still has a chance.
I think we all do.
Final boss. You know, final boss got to show out. For final boss, I need final boss. But yeah, I feel like the build-up is good. Not even the matches. I think you have a great storybook ending with Jay. You know what I mean? I think, I would end that on a night. I don't know, with night 1 and night 2. I would end that on a night. Everybody eating with Jay. I think that's a dope look. We had Daniel Bryan doing the yes. I think it has that type of look. Cody winning last year. I think that's, WrestleMania is supposed to be magical. So I think that's a magical moment. I think we got Punk, we got John Cena, we got Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like I think that's going to be at Mania, the way it's looking. So I think Mania is fine. I think people are just negative just to be negative.
I think that was really insightful, the comment you made that maybe people are feeling this way because they can't determine which way this is going. So I think that might have something to do with it. But your question is, how do I feel about this build to WrestleMania? Well, there is no build because we just entered the season. So, I mean, right now, as well, I just said, we already have probably 4 to 5 different feuds campaigns already brewing. and we still don't really know where everything is going. So just give it time. Like, it literally just started. Just like how I came on here saying that Ricky Stark's got to be the man come next week. This is pretty much what they're doing too. Like, give it a chance. Like you said, we still got Elimination Chamber to sell. But I do have a question about Elimination Chamber. Every time they show the graphics, it's 5. Is it 5? The way they looked at it was like 5. They had 2 people from SmackDown, 2 people from Raw. Who could be the 5th and or 6th person? Just probably be 6. So there's 4 thingies and then 2 people to start.
On the men's side or women's side?
Men's side. I'm saying that could The Rock enter the Elimination Chamber?
Oh no, the match is Punk and I'm sorry, not Punk, but Seth and who did we just see last night? It was Seth and
Seth's fighting. He's fighting Finn, right?
Finn Balor.
Finn.
Yeah.
But it's 6. It's 6 people for the chamber, right? 6 men.
Yeah. It's Drew.
Yeah,
there's 4 corners.
Drew's in it, right? Drew's already in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The graphic shows 5, but you have 4 turnbuckles,
Pods.
and then you pods, and you have 2 people to start. So that would be 6. Although I've seen like the graphic show 5. All I'm saying is, could we see The Rock inserted?
That Joker.
I don't think it makes sense. What? So he can fight Cody?
Huh?
I mean, so he can fight. Yeah, so he can fight Cody.
Yeah. Remember the People's Champ?
No, man. No. We only want him and Roman now. I think we're kind of off that with Cody.
Oh, I'm done with Cody. I need Roman.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
you know what? I take that back. I just want The Rock out there.
See, that's what I'm saying. See,
like-
I take Rock and Cody.
I've lowered my expectations, man. I've lowered my expectations. I just need him out there.
No, I wanted Rock and Cody as well. However, I think that last appearance that Rock made on Raw, he kind of put some water on that feud. So,
And both of them, Romans too. He hit that man with the Ulafala, gave him a kiss.
He gave him them dirty looks, though. He was getting him dirty looks.
he gave him dirty looks.
He
All
was
in our
looking
minds,
kinda
man.
foul.
It was some weird.
He was looking at him kinda foul.
So, E, let me ask you. So we talked last week. We were talking about triple threat matches. I got another question for you guys now. We had talked about Seth, Roman, and Punk as being the rumored triple threat. And we were kind of going back and forth, like, should it be the one-on-one with Roman and Seth? Because there's a lot of money in that. It kind of feels like maybe Punk is kind of just shoehorning that. What about, would you guys rather have that one, or would you rather have Punk, Cena, and Cody? And then let Roman and Seth go one-on-one.
Yes. I'd rather have that.
I don't want to see their most prestigious championship in a triple threat. I feel like that on a WrestleMania needs to be a one-on-one. If this was like a Rumble or a Elimination Chamber or a Fast Lane or anything like that, cool. But I feel like, back in the day, well, like, we know when they had the VCR, VHS, like cassette, you had Hawk and Andre, you had Hawk and Savage, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it looked right when he got 3 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you got to have like the verses, right? And it's one-on-one for me for Mania. That's why like even the thought of a triple threat at any kind of level seems weird. However, if they do Punk, Seth, and Roman, I guess that probably wouldn't main event, because I think at this point we know that Jay and Gunther is going to be a main event probably on night 1 or probably night 1. And then, whoever Cody's up against is going to be your main event for night 2. So, I guess you can have a triple threat, especially if it's not a main event, but not for my main event world championship match. No.
I hate triple A's. Y'all know that. Hate them. The only triple A I like is if you give me Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther again. WrestleMania 39. That I love. That I loved it. I wanted it in the beginning, loved it throughout it. One of my favorite matches, top 30 matches of my whole life. Other than that, no, never to a triple A. And it's for a title. No. If you bring a triple A match together for a title, that means one of those persons have to be like a Rock or like a Stone Cold or like somebody who probably can't go one-on-one for that long period of time, that you need a buffer. You need someone to kind of maybe hide some of your inadequacies that you're experiencing at that moment. Hate triple A's. No. So if that means then we get the Roman and Seth now, then okay, I guess we take it, because he's got curb stumped anyway. So I guess the story would be there for them to go. Like I've always said, I thought Roman's last few matches would be Roman Seth, Cody 3, and then whoever he gives the tribe to. Those are like my last big 3 matches for Roman. But if we can get Roman and Seth now, then I guess I'll take it this year versus in years in advance or to come. But no AAA and not for a title.
I will say I think like the booking for Mania has been a little more loosey goosey than the past 2 years. You know, of course we had the Cody taking on the big bad guy, you know, for 39. I'm getting them mixed up. So that was kind of there. We knew that we were going to get that, and then we hoped to get the rematch the next year. Cody finishing the story that almost got intercepted by The Rock. But like that big story, well, that was almost like, you know, like a CW show, right? Like that was the big bad guy. That was the story that you knew. That was the big overarching story for like the season. Like, right when you are looking at this season, you're watching this season for WWE. There is no overarching. Like, well, we thought there was one, where we thought it was going to be the Rocket Final Boss coming back, saying that he was the guy behind Solo and the whole Bloodline 2.0, right? As fans, in our minds, that's what we thought the bad guy was. That's what we thought the main story arc was. But then, now we're getting that close to WrestleMania, we're finding out that wasn't the case this whole time, right? So, to me, I kind of feel like a company that typically does have a story arc that kind of makes sense leading up to the main event on WrestleMania. We can't see it because I don't think there is one. Like, we're not a clear one. Like, right? Because we're still kind of like, and I'm all about, I don't necessarily need to, you know, I actually like to be surprised. I don't necessarily need to know what's coming up. I'm good with just watching it and coming along for the journey. But when you look at it, it's like, okay, like, all right, was Jay and Gunther really the plan all along? Like, Jay didn't find out he was winning until like a couple hours before the damn match. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he should have called Matt, because Matt knew before Jay did. But
they said that this was the plan since I think September. I think that came out either today or a few days ago. They said Jay was always the plan to win the Rumble, going back as far as either September or October.
That wasn't that long ago, right? We knew that we had Cody and Roman. Like, we knew as we're watching it, we knew, right? So it seemed like you know, they had some things in place, and like maybe Rock fell out at whatever time and he couldn't come, or whatever the case may be. But I'm not gonna say that necessarily it's a bad thing, you know, because again, the plan at one point was for Rock and Roman last year. Like, right, we thought we were going to get to finish your story. They came for it. I know Rock like, yeah, no, we're gonna do it this year. It's Roman and Rock. They segued through that. We got Cody and Roman as we were supposed to. So it's just that when you look at it, there's not a clear path, because they haven't taken us on a story or on a ride that shows a clear path to where we're going to be.
But in all fairness, and I might be ignorant in saying this, but this time last year, this time 2 years ago, 1 week removed from Royal Rumble, did we have matches already lined up for Mania?
No, we didn't have matches outside of the Rumble winners, but it was known online when some of the matches were. Yeah. That's why I say I think it's because they can't see where it's coming. Right now, if they said the match is going to be Braun Breaker versus Penta at WrestleMania, people would be like, oh, that's a hell of a bill. They haven't even like done anything yet. But it's because they know what it is, so now they know what to look for. Right now, they have no idea what they're looking for. They don't know if they should be looking at Io to beat Rhea somehow. So then it's going to be Io and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's where I think their whole thing of, man, it's been lackluster. It's not that there has not been a build yet. They haven't started building Mania.
Right.
And they shouldn't be on TV yet. Yes, absolutely, they should know already what night 1, night 2 looks like to a certain extent. You know, there's now rumors that Drew may have a different opponent for WrestleMania. We talked about that last week. So I'm not talking about those, but I am sure if you look at their top 4 matches on each side, Saturday and Sunday, outside of political issues that may be happening with maybe The Rock coming back, or still some jockeying of, I need my spot, where's my spot at, which is why I think we are going to get one of those 2 triple threat matches. They know. They just haven't shown it on television yet. They may even have another Saturday Night's Main Event that they still got to do. So they got to do Elimination Chamber. They are on Netflix. Those are big shows. I just think that if you want to say the build because we don't know what the matches are, quote unquote, yet, then yes. But I'd rather have this than me know the second week of February what the majority of the Mania card is.
Hey, but let's keep it a buck though. We knew the box art by now years ago. Like, right? We knew the box art. We knew the box art for WrestleMania like by now. Like we got it's in February. I'm sorry, it's in April. We're in we're in February now. Like right, and we still don't know the box art yet at this point. Like right, like and that was really was sold the card for most of the part. Like it was those big matches. Like everything else was just icing on the cake. But at this point, we knew. All right, we got Cody and Roman. We got we got Hawk and Andre. We got whoever. We knew who was on the box art at this point. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, though, I feel like for them, I think if they knew all along what the box art was, I feel like it would be there. We will be kind of along for the journey. Like I don't know what right now. I'm just watching the show week to week, and I'm just surprised because I have no idea where the hell they're going. And to be honest with you, gotta put it out there. I'm not on the side with them. I feel like a lot of internet people are weird. Like the matches that they can come up with, I don't think it's as big as what we have for the past 2 years. And maybe that's because, again, the journey hasn't been there. Like, and that's the big thing about any trick. I always talk about being a story guy. Like, I need to be along for the journey. You can't just call me, hey, surprise, E, we're pregnant. Okay. Congratulations, right? But if I knew that you have been trying and you guys have been going through some things, and then like I was around for the journey, the ups and downs, the peaks and the valleys. So when I get that call, it's a different love I have than versus you just call me out of nowhere and say, "Oh, last night, a couple months ago, I forgot to use some protection and we got a baby coming on the way." Like it's a different feeling, coming to being along for the journey than you just showing up for the show. At this point, we just gonna be showing up. Like, yeah, they can get us involved, but this is WrestleMania, man. Like, this ain't a regular pay-per-view where they just gonna build a match, a month before the card just to get excited about it. It's Mania, but it had been more than that for the past couple of years.
I think it's kind of hard too, like, right? You're talking about the last 2 years. I mean, it don't get any bigger than Cody Roman. So It's hard to match that story. Like, that story is hard. Like, that's a special story because Cody came in with so much fanfare. Everybody got love for Dusty Rhodes. If you grew up watching him and knowing what he was, and knowing like really emotionally what he was truly dealing with the loss of his father and trying to live up to his father and his brother, you know what I mean? And just and how he left the WWE the first time. So I just feel like, and then failing the first time.
Right.
And then that story now is to show the world that he can do it. You know what I mean? And then obviously The Rock just diving in and taking it away from him. Okay, now he's got it back. Like it was just a whole different vibe. So it's going to be hard to match the last two Manias, to be real with you, in terms of main events. That's why I feel like they have so many talented dudes right now. They can go any which way to Matt's point. That's what makes everybody confused to say like the buildup. Because you can make an argument that Drew should be main eventing. You can make the argument that CM Punk should be main eventing. Yep. You can make the argument obviously for John Cena. We already know Cody's the champion. Jay, like Sammy. To me, KO has had one of the best runs in a long time. Yep. You can make the argument for KO to be main eventing Mania. But like, there's so many talented dudes to a point where you're trying to slot them in correctly. Jay definitely was like the wild card. Jay forced the hand. The people forced the hand for Jay. Like, he's so over, you can't deny him. He is undeniable. Like, he has to be the main event. He is the story of WrestleMania to me. Yep. He is the story. So I just feel like, yeah, we're gonna try to map it out to like the last two Manias. That's tough regardless. Like, I don't think those last two Manias are gonna be tough for any other Mania, to be real with you. Other than the last, for me, I mean, you got Daniel Bryan. I like obviously Rock Hogan, that Mania. I thought that was dope. Yeah. Like, those two Manias, it's hard to measure up, to be real with you, period. Yeah.
And Mania is real quick. Mania is 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks later than what it was last year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I mean, we have time.
Completely different. You guys are all right with what you're saying, but if we're going to argue that, the argument shouldn't be, and this is not me getting into semantics. Argument wouldn't be the road to WrestleMania has been bad. You would have to go back to like Survivor Series build to Royal Rumble build. That's when we typically start seeing what the Mania matches are going to be. That's true. Right? Like, so, Wole, you brought up last year, Cody Roman 2. That was made strictly from 39. You knew he was going to win the championship at 40, and you were fine with it because it's another year. there was no way in the world Cody Rhodes was not going to win the championship at WrestleMania 40, and you knew that at the end of WrestleMania 39, right? The other, for WrestleMania 39, the other night one main event was the tag match. When KO got hit and got his ass beat at the Royal Rumble, Roman gave Seth that chair, and Seth hit Roman. You knew in that moment it was going to be KO and Sammy, probably against the Usos for the championship. We knew it at Royal Rumble. So now we just got months to kind of watch that. This year, there just hasn't been that thing in November and December or even in January that you say that's going to be the match. And I think that was done intentionally outside of the Rock piece. Take that out. I think it is done intentionally that way to keep us guessing and to not peak too soon. That's
and
the
to
other
give them
thing.
flexibility too. So
Yeah.
if things has to change, then they can easily maneuver it.
Because the Rock could come back. You're right, because the Rock could come back.
There you go.
30%
There you
chance.
go.
30%.
So let me tell you guys, and we can move on from the triple threats. I think for me, I think I've kind of cracked the code on what I would want to see and what I want them to do. I was not high on Roman, Seth, and Punk just because I felt like how can you not have Punk and Roman in singles matches? They don't even have to be against each other. I just feel like it's WrestleMania. They need to be in singles matches. And then I was thinking about, okay, well, if I got to have it, okay, I know they'll make it fun throughout the lead up. And of course, by the time that match starts, we're going to really want to see it. And then I was watching Punk last night on Raw. And, you know, he's got almost that like psychotic kind of look to him whenever he looks at the WrestleMania sign. Like he is like determined, I have to get to WrestleMania, which is also always fun that you're going to get to WrestleMania. Maybe you don't get the match you want, but you're going to be at WrestleMania. I think the smart move is to go Cena, Punk, and Cody for the championship. As much as I want Punk and Cody, or not Punk, but Cody and Cena to have those incredible face-to-face promo battles of I was the guy, you know, that whole thing. Go Roman and Seth singles, because that's how Punk cashes in his favor from Paul Heyman. He cashes in because he loses Chamber. Cena wins the Chamber. Then Punk goes to Heyman and cashes, hey, you got to get me in the main event of WrestleMania.
Ooh.
And Heyman somehow gets him added to Cody and Cena, which is going to piss Roman the fuck off all the way. So you could have always, you do that for him, who threw me out the Rumble. He threw me out the Rumble. And you get him in the main event shot before me. And now we off to the races with Punk and Roman, if either that's SummerSlam, because we got to fill that stadium again 2 nights, or wherever that is. I think that's the smart money. If you have to have a triple threat as one of those, that's the way I would go.
And that would be fair because Cena pulled his trump card and said, hey, I'm going to be in this Elimination Chamber no matter what. So then you can't be the pot calling the kettle black because Punk called in his favor. I like that. I like that a lot.
I was actually dope.
Go ahead.
My only thing about a triple threat, because I'm like if it's going to be a triple threat, the belt got to be on the line. There's got to be stakes in a triple threat. There can never be a triple threat. What's the use of a triple threat if there's no stakes?
Yeah.
Like that's my issue with a triple threat. When folks are throwing out Punk, Seth and Drew, I'm like, there's no stakes. Like unless you're telling me the winner gets a automatic title shot, then I'm cool with that. But if it's just for a fight, a grudge match, I'm trying to think of like big triple threats on paper on PLEs. They're all for something.
You just did it. Yeah. I mean, that's it has to be. So to your point of saying it has to be, you're right, because it has to be either as a title or number one contender.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen a triple threat match that wasn't for some type of like high stakes.
Yeah.
Good shit. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't like that.
You said,
like
nah.
I don't like it.
Look,
I don't want a triple. I don't want to. I don't want a triple way.
There we go.
I don't want a triple way. And then, so if I like the idea of Heyman pulling a favor and getting them inserted into a match, but that has to be explained perfectly and logically, because I'm beyond the point of wrestling or anything to where shit doesn't make sense. Like, because Heyman doesn't have any management privileges. He's not on the board. He has no power. So how can he get anybody into the thing? Like, is he that good of a negotiator? He but it would have to make
flesh it
sense.
out, of course. Yeah.
It would have to make sense. It can't be one of them things they just spread the cheeks and pull out the ass. It has to be something that makes sense. And in that kind of scenario, that's one of them touch and go, right? I don't know what they can come up with that will make sense that Paul Heyman will be able to get him inserted into a match like that. And then two, I don't want to see a Triple A match. I just don't want to see Triple H. And going back to like the whole thing, I would rather see a Punk and in a Cody match. I'm not interested in seeing Cody and John Cena. On paper, that's a big match. On paper, that is a big match. But the dude got a big ass bald spot. He got titties on his back. Like I just
Yikes.
like it's just like it's
harsh,
man. It's just not you know what I'm saying. And listen, I love Cody, but Cody he got a certain type of match he got to wrestle in order for it to be really really good. Right? He got a certain type of match, and I'm sure Cena can work in that. But you got Cena, emoting his face so like the people in the fourth level of the stadium can see him. You know what I'm saying? He's a fucking cartoon character out there, right?
Yes, sir.
like him going through a whole match 1-on-1 in a Cody style match, man. That's just I'm not
Okay, so
I'm not feeling none of that.
All right, so I got one for you, then E. So and I'm only going triple threat because that's what it looks like it's going to be. So then we take away the triple threat. Would you rather have the triple threat, or this turns out to be Cody wrestling 2 times like last year? Night 1 is against the winner of Elimination Chamber. Night 2 is against CM Punk, or vice versa. Maybe somehow that's how Heyman can get.
Why would Cody have to wrench twice though?
Cody's been tired. He's been tired. He's been like
because he's champion.
Complaining about being tired.
They're not gonna make that man. So that's again that would have to make sense too.
Correct.
Why would
they all gotta make sense.
Why would they put like you know what I'm saying their golden goose in back-to-back matches? That just seems like that's just negligence at that point.
Maybe he wants it. Maybe like I said, somehow Heyman talks him into you want to go down as a great. You want to go down being better than John Cena. Beat him 9-1. Beat Punk night 2. You are now forever goated in all GOAT conversations. Maybe that just gets to him. I'm only looking at it from. I think they got to cash in this favor thing for WrestleMania. I always thought.
The only thing about that though, Matt, man, like just from when you're a creative standpoint, you risk burning the crowd out on Cody, right?
We said that last year,
matches,
maybe.
Right? But see, it was different, right? Because he had to win one match to get to the other match. Like he had to wrestle night 1 to get his stipulation for night 2, right?
Right.
This one, they have to be careful not to do a Charlotte Flair, to where they're just constantly booking him in a way till he's so strong that you just expect him to win to where you resent it. Like, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, maybe you go the winner. Well, you would go the winner of night 1 anyway. I'm just saying in this story, Cody's going to go to night 2. But I think they could, if they wanted to spin this somehow and go Cena and Cody night 1, and then the winner of night 1 takes on CM Punk night 2, that we not selling pay-per-views no more like we used to.
That's what we talked about last week, wasn't it? Or the week before, we said, hey, if they're going to do a triple way, like put that match on night 1, right? Have Roman, Punk, and Seth, and the winner of that match, and that's where Paul talks, to whoever into putting that stipulation there,
right?
Like, right. So now that gives you a reason to have a triple threat, and actually it would make sense to have 3 main eventers in a match, right? Because they're vying to face Cody on night 2 for WrestleMania, right? So and that's a match that doesn't have to close the show. You still can have Jey Uso and Gunther close the show, and you can have your yeet moment, right? Maybe that's the match that goes, second from last or third from last. It doesn't have to be the last match, like, right? But you get those 3 in with that caveat of the winner takes on Cody on the next show. Maybe that's how you get there.
Well, you were about to ask question.
My question for y'all is, because I've been kind of looking at Cody differently. I feel like Cody's like close to turning heel.
Let's go.
All right, so I want to ask, like, do y'all seen the same thing? Am I geeking?
No, you're not geeking at all. But it's been there. That's been my thing. It's been there. And he does it for all of his major feuds, which is all of them. Close to the end of the feud, he does some shit where it's like, dude, you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's coming out. I'm going to go back until they show me differently. I'm going to go back to that Punk promo. Are you okay, man? It looks like it's wearing on you. That wasn't just for Kevin Owens at the Rumble, because that wasn't a story in that match. If that was a story in that match, cool. You helped sell the Royal Rumble match. That was not a story in the match. Not once did the commentator say, yeah, typically by now Cody would have blah, 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 but he's just so tired. You can see his weighing on him. He's not thinking right. It was none of that. That promo was put there for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I already said last week, I booked how I would turn him heel. I don't know. I don't know if you turn him heel at WrestleMania.
I kind of think it's going. I feel like if he turns heel, I think it's gonna happen to Mania. I don't know why I think that. I just feel like there's signs him grandstanding after what he did to Kevin Owens. Like, I just felt like that's
nasty.
A different level of pettiness.
That was nasty.
That's a different. That's some heel type stuff. Like, the dude
of course,
shattered, broken, and you went to his side and put the belt.
Went back
and taunted him.
Yep, he went back. I'm like, nah, bro. Like,
spun the block.
You borderline now. You getting there. You this close to turning full heel. Like, you this close. So I feel like whoever he's, depending on who he's matched up, like if he's going to get Cena in Mania, I feel like it's going to happen.
And that's the story of WrestleMania 41.
Yeah.
That's the story of that show. That's where Cody Rhodes turned heel. Like, 40 was him finishing the story. 39 was Roman beating him. Like, that would be the story. Well, you got Yeet. So you do have Yeet. Maybe Yeet should be the story.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't do. Maybe they do it the Monday night after Raw.
That's a good one, too.
If you really just got to have that guy. But, man, if he beats the dog shit out of Jay, if, say, Jay's champ, he just beats his ass on Raw for no reason, I would be here for that heat. The heat he would get. Oh, come on. Now we talking, man. Now we booking the damn territory.
I do want to bring up just one thing on matches. Yes, I want the payoff of the cash in or whatever this favor is. I just don't want another great singles competition, 3-ways, fatal 4-ways, to be jeopardized or compromised because we have to put a match on night 1 to get us to night 2. I don't want that to happen. I was there for it in 40 because they were telling that story for Cody to finish the story, but I'm not one for let's have something on match 1 because I like the 4 to 5 matches per card. I don't want them just to have to throw something on because I think that they could build 2 really good cards. So I just think they got to, for me as a fan, they got to be careful with that because then now you're taking the spot from possibly some of the women matches. And now you're putting on other matches that's not for the title ahead of a women's heavyweight championship. So they just got to be careful with me on that because I know last year they got some heat for not having women matches in the show, which I did not think that they should. At that time, I did think that the 2 main events we had was the way it should have gone, but there was some backlash on that.
Damn,
so then
talk about DEI, huh?
No, I'm actually saying I'm actually trying to encourage DEI because I want more people to be able to have matches instead of. Yep.
We're talking about DEI.
Yeah.
But I actually think about it like, you know, from a business perspective, you want to kind of connect the 2 shows, right? You want to give people a reason to, you know, maybe because, you know, some people, right? Like, that's 2 nights of wrestling. Maybe, I don't like the card on night 1. I'm just going to watch night 2. I just want to see Cody against Cena, right? Or maybe I don't want to see Cody and Cena. I just want to see Roman in the triple way, right? If you give them a reason to stick with both shows, because almost like it's a continuous show, right? It's like, you know, part 1 and part 2, right? In order to, you gotta watch part 1 and understand part 2 and vice versa, right? So if they do it that way, it makes sense from a creative standpoint to try to have something to connect the 2 shows, because, you know, 2 nights of wrestling, I mean, they still can put a lot of matches on the card. So if you want to have half the damn card be women to make people happy, you can do that because you got like 20 damn, you got 20 damn matches to play around with.
I still worry about Becky too.
Yeah, we don't even know where she's.
I ain't worried about Becky.
I'm not right
We
now
can-
either. Not
we can move
right
around.
now for Mania. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna take that back because I'm not a huge Becky fan, but I do believe that we need some
These don't rock with
massive woman,
nobody.
some massive star woman power for Mania, and I think Becky would be that one. But I'm loving maybe even I know we're about to jump back. Aleister Black showing up at Raw after Mania. I think that would be a really good look for him.
SmackDown
It's-
Friday.
Okay, that's fine too.
Stop pushing this man's.
Oh, no,
name.
you mean this
He is
SmackDown?
needed. He is
He talking
needed.
about- Matt want him right now. He want him right now, like right now.
Right
Hey, you know what though? Like if you think about it, like if they don't have a slot for him,
Right, bring him
on
in after
Mania,
Mania.
then
Like
just
so.
hold him off, right? Because if they ain't bring him for Mania Rumble, like, I don't know about just have him on a random SmackDown just to do what, right? I think it'd be cooler on that Raw, right?
On
To
the Raw after?
continue that buzz.
Yep.
Hey, Rhodesia, so stay with the women wrestling that you talked about. So how we got Charlotte week 2. How you feel about her? I'm just curious.
I didn't.
Oh, you ain't
watch
watched none of it?
yeah, mm-mm.
Damn.
You watch
Sorry.
SmackDown. He's talking about on SmackDown.
I
Not
didn't
Raw.
watch no SmackDown.
She's I ain't
didn't
watching
watch
Nasty
SmackDown.
too.
People
It's
just
like
wanna say I watch
disgusting.
SmackDown.
It was
Why you turning Mr. T right there? What the hell is that?
Her face got real.
God damn. Yeah.
You
well,
say I
yeah,
watch
well,
SmackDown? I watch no
do-
SmackDown.
Right. You asked him though.
I ain't never seen nobody get pissed off about watching SmackDown. Damn. All right.
I'm okay. You know what? Fine. Whatever.
Anyway, I thought the promo. I thought she showed she was a notch above Tiffany. I'm not sure if that's what they were trying to show, but that's what I got. I was like, okay. She still got away. And it wasn't a long 12-minute back and forth promo. It was just, you got what you say. I can get my shit off, and then we kind of get our shit off together at the end. But I was like, all right, that first face off is kind of what I thought it would be a little bit. Mama talking to the daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I like Charlotte. I just feel like how do you feel about Bailey, right? You feel a certain way about Bailey right now, right? I feel like Charlotte's time is dwindling in terms of being like the top female. And I feel like there are other women that we want to see more. Just be honest with you. Like I think it is Tiffy time. So it's like
Tiffy time.
Like I think Charlotte has a place, but I think the 4 horsewomen to a certain extent, like it's their time is starting to dwindle, and some of the fans aren't as enthused with them like they are with some of the other women wrestlers now. That's where I'm at with Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like now, if Charlotte could be a full blown heel, she's better off of being a full blown heel. That's her thing. Like she should be a heel. Like and there's money for her in that. But in terms of like the popularity that we've seen in Charlotte in the past, I do think there's a new generation of females out there now that are kind of stepping their game up and who we want to see more. Like we want to see Rhea more. I'm sorry. Like we want to see Rhea more. We want to see Tiffy. We want to see Bianca. You know what I mean? Like when Jade gets back, we're going to want to see Jade. Like there are girls out there now in the game where it ain't Charlotte. It's not the same landscape. It's just not the same landscape.
I think Matt hit it on the head. Like, can we get Charlotte to where, of course, you got to build up Tiffany. So again, having these, I'm gonna call them veterans at the point, teach the younger, more green, maybe not as experienced wrestlers, so they can bring them up. But if we could see Charlotte kind of like on a part-time, like she's a spectacle. We don't need to see her often. Like I think if we can get her in that avenue, I think people would appreciate her more because she is probably in her prime when you're talking about age-wise. But you're right. Right now, people aren't really checking for that right this second. But if you can keep her, I see her every once in a month. I'm not going to get tired of her. Again, she's probably going to still be a heel. She's probably going to be able to get everything that she wants. And that's okay because that's a built-in story for her for the rest of her career. But if you can build Tiffy up, you're absolutely right. And then you can hopefully that'll bleed on to someone like a Lyra and someone else. Like, well, Chelsea doesn't need it. Chelsea's it. But yeah, she's it. But these other people, though, bring them up. This is like that perfect time where you still have youth, meaning your Beckys, your Charlottes, and Baileys. But you also have a lot of knowledge in the head that you can teach the young people coming up, especially with the class of the women in NXT. They're going to need that on the main roster. So I think this is a perfect time. But if we don't have to see Charlotte all the time, I think people would appreciate her more.
And I do like Charlotte. I'm not hating on Charlotte. I'm just saying, like, I can see how the crowds are like responding to her.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like her a lot, though, man. I like her a lot. But the thing is, like Matt said it, like she kind of outshined Tiffy. That is what I said. Because when she came out there, Rhodesia,
Okay.
Charlotte came out there, she cut her promo, and it was heelish. It wasn't it was a heel promo. It was a heel promo. Tiffy came out there to interrupt. Crowd pops, right? So Tiffy comes into the ring. Charlotte doesn't react at all. It's almost like it's almost like the girl wasn't even there. She just stood in the middle of the ring, didn't look at her, like didn't motion to her. She didn't feel like she didn't feel like intimidated. She didn't feel like it's almost like she didn't even know she was there.
Yep.
Wow.
Like right
Beneath her.
Beneath her. This is exactly why I just was about to say we on the same mind. So like, and that's the thing about Charlotte. That's the type of energy she brings to everything. Everybody is beneath her. She's on a whole nother level, right? So when you're talking about can she get a rub from Charlotte, the way Charlotte carries herself, she won't allow her to get the rub because just the way she presents herself, the way she acts, the way she talks, she's not gonna give a rub. It's just her character is too dominant. And I gotta be honest, we just say what it is. I like Charlotte. I'm gonna give her a chance, man. She was gone for a year. I don't think people missed her. You talked about her being a special attraction. I don't think she's a special attraction people are willing to watch. Not this version of her.
Yeah, maybe they didn't miss Charlotte in particular, but they miss a star on that women's side.
I mean, you would think, yes, they definitely get use more stars. Like I said, I think this is the reaction she's getting. I felt like, again, she's just too strong and too dominant of a character that she's going to continuously. It's going to be the same thing with every opponent. She's going to talk down, right? She's better than everybody. She's won 18 championships. It's going to be the same thing. So even though she's been gone for a year, it's the same shit when you see her. Right, and I think they did a disservice by shoehorning her right into the main event again. Like, right, it'd have been better off for her to, like, well, at least with Bayley, like Bayley's doing other stuff. Like, right, she's not up at the top, right, and she's able to be vulnerable. Like, right, she can kind of like Chelsea does. She can kind of show like a vulnerability. She can show ass, and she let people get over on her a little bit. No one gets over on Charlotte. Nobody.
What's name just beat Bayley in NXT? What's the chick's name? The
Roxanne?
one that the one's a big fan of CM Punk.
Cora Jade.
Yeah, she just beat her. Cora Jade just beat her. So I'm just saying, to your point, Bayley just beat Bayley. Bayley will take a loss. She'll take a loss. She doesn't to a lower tier wrestler. Like, so to your point, yeah, she's like Bayley's more vulnerable. And I think that's still endearing to folks. That's still a little bit more endearing to folks. Charlotte, like, I agree with you. There's no need for me to copycat. Like, I agree with you on that point.
So we need to charge Charlotte then with, this is now your responsibility. You are the queen. You claim you're the queen. You now have to be able to bring that someone like Miss Tiffy up. Yes, at the end of the day, kind of like when Roman's in a ring with somebody else, he's going to his aura is going to always outshine them, at least right now. But it's going to be his responsibility to get him over. So Charlotte, you are the queen. It is going to be your responsibility in this part of your career, at least for a fan, to help bring those people up. Because what it sounds like, Tiffy thought she was a Phantom until the Phantom pulled up, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Basically. Like, yeah, Charlotte.
It had the energy. Yep.
See? So Charlotte's going to have to be charged with making sure she is going to build people up.
I put up, while he was talking, I put a quick poll up on Twitter, which maybe before it's over, we'll see where it's at. I just say recording the pod right now, and this topic came up. Do you miss Charlotte Flair? Did you miss Charlotte Flair while she was gone? Yes or no? I just hit send like less than a minute ago, and we got one vote, and then somebody else said no. So we'll see where it's at. We'll look at it before we wrap up. A couple other quick things around the women's division. Roxanne is taking on Raquel next week for a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Interesting. This is how they kind of are bringing her up to the main roster. Or is this not their introduction to the main roster? So I guess my question to you guys is, do you think she's going to be in Elimination Chamber, or will it be Raquel?
I think, that's a good question. She's going to be in Vengeance. She's a pay-per-view in Vengeance. I think it's going to be Raquel. I kind of think it's going to be Raquel. I think she's going to try to help out Liv. They're going to have that dynamic in the Elimination Chamber. I thought Roxanne was going to win, but actually after watching NXT, and seeing what's going to happen for Vengeance, I kind of think that it'll be Raquel.
Okay.
Man, that's I'm trying to put my Matt thinking cap on as far as do we bring Roxanne on like that to show her, then for her to lose, but then also should she win? What are we trying to build with Raquel? I think I want to go with Raquel, but because I feel like part of me is you're trying to introduce somebody and you want them to get over. I think Roxanne's stardom should be more than Raquel. So I'm going to go just to split it up. I'm going to go with Roxanne.
Yeah, I would rather see Roxanne, man. Like, you think about it, man. I don't think that Raquel is going to really add much to the match. I like to see them kind of put a fire under her ass, because she's not a very good heavy. Right?
She's a sweetheart, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's
we
that's
called
not a
this
good
out
thing.
before.
That's
we
not
said
a good
this.
thing. But she was a more of a, like, in NXT when she came back. She changed her body, and she's Big Mommy Cool, whatever her name was. She was a bigger killer in NXT than she's been in this new bodyguard for Liv thing, man. Like, I'd rather see Roxanne. But I feel like in some ways with Roxanne, like, they need to slow down and properly build her for the audience. Like, tell people who she is. I mean, yeah, cool. She gets a couple wins or whatnot, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she'll get over by if they kind of tell people who she is and what her motivation is, and kind of give her some acting character work. But yeah, I guess from a match perspective, I would want to see Roxanne.
And that's what I was surprised about. That's why I'm like, is this the official, coming out party for Roxanne? It doesn't feel like it. Yeah, we saw her incredible display during the Rumble. She got that now longest woman in Rumble history. That's awesome. I don't know if that's enough to, like, that's now her official stamp to the main roster. It needs to be more than that. So I'm going to think.
Oh, damn.
What's
Matt.
that?
So I think I saw a little bit where, like, didn't Roxanne cost Bailey her match?
Yep.
It is going to be booking 101.
Yep.
It's booking 101. Bailey coming out to cost her,
yep.
right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So do we get Bailey and Roxanne in Mania?
I think we will.
That'd
That's
be a fun,
cute.
good match.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. I like that.
That would be.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Mania, bro. I think that's
You don't think so?
on their NXT show.
You said that's Zero Dark 30?
You don't think it'll be Mania, like one of the lower cards?
Because NXT's they always run a show.
Oh, you're talking about
yeah, with Mania. I think that'll probably be one of their top matches.
Is that Takeover?
Yeah, Takeover.
Takeover,
Stand and deliver.
That's true.
That probably be on Takeover.
Stand and deliver. Last question on the women. Io gets her title shot against Rhea the night after Raw. Are we in agreement? We do not want. I know we talk about triple threats. Are we in agreement? We don't want that match as a triple threat with the winner of the Elimination Chamber versus Rhea versus Io at WrestleMania. We'd rather have just Rhea versus the winner of Elimination Chamber.
No triple ways, ever.
If it's Rhea versus Bianca, I'm cool with it. I mean, I like Io a lot, though. I wouldn't mind Io. I wouldn't mind Io in at Mania. I would prefer Bianca, but it wouldn't kill me. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I love Io Sky. I think she's dope. I think she's like that. I think she should be more. I think she should be pushed even higher. To be real with you, that's how much I like her. But if you're telling me Bianca versus Rhea, I'm taking that. Take my money. Like, give me that. Or give me Bianca Jay. Give me that too. See them two black women together. Oh God, Jesus.
Uh-oh. You gotta cool them down over there.
I gotta chill out. Chill out.
You right though. E, you rather go 1-on-1, right?
Yeah, I don't want triple ways.
Yeah. Yep. 8 votes, 50-50 right now.
Oh wow.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll check in again before we leave. Solo's back. SmackDown came back and thumbed the shit out of Cody Rhodes. That was pretty unexpected.
Okay.
I still think we're getting Solo versus Jacob. That's the only thing that makes sense for Mania right now. But what's your guys' thoughts about Solo being back and then going right back into the Cody verse?
It don't bother me. I like Solo. I think Solo gets a lot of hate for some strange reason. I don't get it. Like, I think Solo's done well in this slot. I I saw some people crying about it online, talking about, oh, Cody's back in this. Cody's back in the bloodline mix. I'm like, I mean, it still kind of fits the storyline. Like this dude, like ended, like ruined this whole thing, his whole vibe. So he wants revenge. So I'm not mad at it. I mean, it's not gonna be a Mania match, so I don't know why people crying about it. So I'm cool with it.
Let me see another couple. Let me see that episode of SmackDown, and let me see maybe another follow up or two.
I ain't watched no SmackDown.
She felt that. You'd have thought, boy, you thought I said something dirty and nasty to her.
Her passion was real.
Well, no, I probably like that though. I probably like that.
It was like how when E say something about me up Dynamite, I ain't watched no Dynamite, sucker. Watch no damn Collision.
That's what I felt like you asked her. You watched Collision? Watch no damn Collision.
Hey, I heard Collision was great though. The last 2 weeks they said.
It was good. I watched it. It was good.
Yeah,
Collision was good.
So E, I need you to finish because I got to have something I want to bring up to Wole about AEW that I texted you guys about a few days ago.
Finish up on the solo tip. I mean, it's like when I look at the bloodline thing, right? We talk about we can't see where it's going. Like that story. It's a good thing in WWE's hot right now because a lot of their stories are kind of loosey goosey, man. Like the whole bloodline thing. I don't see where it's going, but honestly, when you look at where it could go, it doesn't seem very appealing, to be honest with you. Like, right? Like, it seemed like there's a ascension with Jacob. Yeah. So where does Solo fit in that equation now he's back, right? And again, we talk about maybe Jacob is going, now he's going to start sunning, Solo. Fall back, little cuz. You backed in the line now. Big cuz is here now. He fold up, cuz. Like whatever they want. Like I don't want to see a babyface Solo. Like he really started hitting his stride as a heel. True. Like right now, maybe he could be a funny ass, companion to Jimmy because there's talk that he's funny too. Like right, so maybe he could be funny guy and crack jokes, and that's the thing, right? He's serious, crack jokes, whatever. But I don't know. That's enough time to make people care about a Solo versus a Jacob match for Mania or anything.
Didn't
like not in 2 months?
Killed that promo on Friday.
Bruh, Jimmy
he did kill that promo.
Jimmy was the man.
Really good promo.
I saw that.
Sir.
Jimmy was the man.
And they always say, like, even Jay would say, like, Jimmy was the more charismatic one.
You can see it.
Like, but damn. And we know, like, this ain't the first time we've seen Jimmy talk, but it was one of those, like, you was proud. Like, hell yeah, Jimmy, show him what you got, man.
I would say that was his breakout, though, right? Would you say that? That was his breakout?
Oh, for sure.
That was his best I've ever seen him, yeah.
Yeah. It just sucked. He knew he wasn't going to win.
Yeah, so, but he had a good mixture because of being funny, but also being very serious, right? Yep. You could tell that he meant what he said.
Yep.
In that moment, right? And that's great from a character perspective. You like, yo, I know he means what he says right now in this moment. Regardless if you think he's going to win or not. I really believe that he thought he was going to win.
Right. They ain't tell him yet. The referee didn't tell him yet. And I love to watch.
Stay down, Big Jim. Stay down.
I love to watch two professionals be professional. Thank you, Drew McIntyre and LA Knight, to show whatever issues may have happened, you can still go out there and make money together.
I know everybody felt good about it. They were like, yo, so I knew it was LA Knight because folks weren't even sure if it was between LA Knight and Paul. They were like, they couldn't tell who was what. So once they cut that promo, folks were like, yep, it was LA Knight. Sure it was.
Yep, got over it. Let's make, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we got a couple jabs. They worked a little stiff a little bit. We good to go. So what I was going to ask you, Wole, about, or make a comment about AEW. So, of course, I haven't watched. And what irritated me a little bit, because I'm all about what irritates me as a person, let alone just the show, is people who aren't truthful. Fake people. Like, it makes, like, my energy and my, like, internal being just, like, it shakes. It's like, like that. So what bothers me is the AEW fans on social media that act like every day is sunny, 78 degrees. It's perfect. There's no issues. They never talk about flaws on their platform, which is if it's, their podcasts or on Twitter. That's typically where I see it. But then when it gets good, they go out of their way to tell you the show was good.
Yes.
So my timeline, it was a lot of, and I love that people are enjoying wrestling. So this is not that. And I'm not saying the show's not good, but there was a lot of people who really enjoyed Swerve and Ricochet. I haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And like this past Saturday's Collision, there was a lot on the timeline of this Collision is great. This Collision is great. AEW's been, this is exactly what AEW needed. And that irritates me because you guys weren't calling out flaws when it did suck. Because maybe if you called out the flaws, maybe they would listen. But if they have their core fan base who never says anything opportunistic, and anybody who does, it is just marked up as you're a shill, WWE's paying you, you don't know real wrestling. Mm-hmm. How can they ever get better? Because if and you can attest to this, unless somebody's asking you a question, you don't see many people go online and talk about this is a great Raw show.
Yeah.
Or a great SmackDown show. Because they're typically all pretty good. Now, if they suck, yeah, you'll see it. Yeah. But like, does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. I that's why I try to stay away from in terms of wrestling internet, like social media, because folks be just too wild. Like, and I don't, to your point, like, all right, for instance, if you were like, I like WWE more, but it doesn't mean I don't, but it doesn't mean I just like AEW. I like AEW. I like for what it offers. But like, I can acknowledge, like, yo, SmackDown kind of long. That thing need to be a little short. You know what I mean? But AEW fan, like, fanatic, they won't acknowledge if their show is too, like, their pay-per-views are too long to me. Like, I think that's an issue.
Yes.
But they don't acknowledge it. Oh, we got a bunch of wrestling. Like, WWE don't give you wrestling. We get a bunch of wrestling. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, that show's too long. You know what I'm saying? We're in a society where our attention spans are this small. Like, why are you giving us, like, 5 hours worth of a show? This ain't Mania. Your regular pay-per-view is about 5-6 hours long. Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense to you? You know what I mean? So, like,
on a Sunday night too.
Yes, bro, on a Sunday night.
I gotta go to work.
And you gotta go to work, exactly. Or your kids gotta go to school. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So, but I'm with you. Like, that's the one thing about I typically in AEW fans podcast or like you mentioned social media is that you don't acknowledge your flaws. Like, I know their flaws. Like, I like. To me, Tony is not the greatest booker in the world. Like, you just got a bunch of talent. Like, that's me. But I'm not gonna go out there and just consistently say Tony sucks and this, that, and the other. I'm gonna say, like, to me, Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers I've seen. Ospreay is amazing. I talk about Ospreay with you, Matt. Like, he to me, and I'm new to Ospreay and Kenny for real. I'm not like one of them dudes who followed him from day one. Like, I got when COVID hit, that's when I watched Kenny. And I was like, that dude is like that.
So
like,
you're caught up on like NJPW Kenny, right?
Yeah,
him and Okada.
Well, basically because he went to AEW. I didn't even go to New Japan like that. I didn't even watch New Japan stuff like that.
Okay, have you though?
A little bit, because I ain't gonna lie. New Japan's too much for me. But
okay, I'm going just like the matches though, just like Okada
I didn't really watch
Kenny.
Okada. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. So Okada, I watched some of the Okada matches in New Japan. I mean, I wasn't that impressed, but everybody kind of hyped it to me. Like, Kenny, when I watched Kenny though, I went back and saw some stuff with Kenny. I was like, yeah, Kenny like that.
Okay,
like, Kenny is like
as
that.
As long as you saw some of that, all right.
Yeah. So I did not transfer. Like, then when I'm watching him with matches with Jericho, and when he became the belt collector and went to like Impact and took the belts over there, I was like, this dude is true. So like, I appreciate the wrestler when it comes to AEW. Like, there's dudes they put me on to like that. I was like, yo, he like that. Like Daniel Garcia is like that to me. Like, to me, he'd be great in WWE, to be real with you. I feel like they're not even doing him service. So I think they got a lot of talent, but like, I can make the argument in terms of saying, I can look at it objectively and not being biased and say like, yo, Tony got to be a better booker. But I can say the same thing about WWE with certain people. I feel like I've said this. I feel like the Street Profits. Thank you. Finally, presentation means a lot.
Come on, man.
Finally, you've taken advantage of the Street Profits. I've said this. This team should be multiple tag team champions. They should be looked at how we look at the New Day. Like, that's how trill I think and talented I think those two brothers are. Mm-hmm. But now you're finally giving them that opportunity. So I can make an argument on the other side. You can hear me on the other side, but at least I'm fair. When it comes to AEW fans, I just don't think they're fair.
They're not.
Like, that's what they keep saying. Well, we get hated on. I'm like, that's not it. Like, y'all not fair. Like, you don't put out your side's flaws. So that's where I get I'm with you, man. That's where I get kind of caught up with that whole AEW fandom. I'm like, acknowledge your flaws. It's okay. No one's gonna hate you for acknowledging your flaws.
Because maybe then they'll make those changes. But as long as you keep saying everything is great, they're never gonna make a change.
Agreed.
Last thing on AEW, and then I got a question for you guys. What's her name? Harley Cameron.
Oh, she's a beast.
Okay.
Harley, right? I am so happy for her because she's getting her just due. She's been good for a long time. But of course, I'm seeing a lot of she's the hottest thing in wrestling right now, or in AEW. It's going crazy. You got to watch this segment. A lot of that. All character work.
Yes.
There we go.
It's
Proof
not
the concept works.
She did not do a 4.5 5-star match, and they were like, "You got to check this match out. She's next up."
True.
Timeless Tony Storm. Character work.
Facts.
Think about that. It's not all that. You still gotta be able to put a match together. You still gotta have good footwork. You gotta have cardio. You gotta do all that, right? You gotta have the look. But damn, just know it is characters. Characters is what moves wrestling along. Always has, always will.
Facts.
100%.
Facts. She's similar to Chelsea. She's very
Same.
similar to Chelsea.
Same,
She's very
right?
Similar to Chelsea. Mm-hmm.
Same. Are you two, Ian, Wole, you guys excited for Grand Slam?
No.
That's actually after Saturday night,
No, not really.
NBA Saturday night.
That's NBA. I mean, I'm still a hooper. So you put that on All-Star Weekend, you lost me, bro. Come see.
No, it's after. It's coming on after.
Oh, after,
immediately
like,
after.
like late night.
Yeah.
He said no.
No, I'm not. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I'm out. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna be out.
Well, that's where I'm at. Like, I appreciate now, because you know that now that Matt and Rhodesia did a heel turn way back with AEW, so now I have to.
Never did a heel turn.
They did a straight heel turn. Yeah, you've been watching the show. Or listen to the show for years, how they get on my ass about AEW. I was like, I talk the same stuff the Matt's talk about now. I'm talking about it for years, right? But he always argue against me and just call me a hater for saying the exact same shit that he's saying now, right? Now we
gotta be constructive.
Conversation. No,
You gotta be constructive. You can't just hate and then not offer a resolution.
You see that? I said, hey, I talk about the storylines, right? I give constructive, but they say we hate it. But anyway, now I can watch the show casually, right? And as you said, like I watch the show for what it is. Now I think that the dynamic between AEW and WWE is different than NWA and WWF back in the day. Like, you know, with NWA, that's still like you feel like that was number two. Like, right. And like it was like, man, when you saw like the blood, like I forget what, I think it was the Four Horsemen. Yeah, maybe it was Magnum TIA or something like that. Or like they put his arm in the car door and they slammed the car door on him. Like, don't say you wasn't seeing stuff like that on WWF programming. Like, or when the Road Warriors took off the spike and they stabbed my man in the eye. Buddy. Like, you wasn't seeing that kind of stuff, right? Good. It just was a different type of show with a different philosophy. But like AEW right now seems like it's such a far like number two, like and like when you watch the show, like you can see some things that you like, right? I can casually see a couple of things like the Hurt Business. I'm sorry, Hurt Syndicate, like Ricochet. I like what they're doing. Harley Cameron is her segments are good, but like nothing about the show makes me want to watch or spend $50 to go see it on a Sunday.
Oh, I'm never
like their show just doesn't make me want to buy their product, and that's a problem for them. Like, right? It's just, nah, I'm not interested. Actually, a conversation, Matt, I'm sure you've seen like the Grand Slam conversation on like a lot of the people who in Australia, when they bought tickets, they paid the exorbitant amount for these tickets for these floor seats. Yep. And then they downgraded from the stadium to like an arena. And like those seats are actually worse seats than they would have had at the stadium.
Oh, no.
And in addition to that, I guess in Australia, they thought they were getting like a pay-per-view.
Yep.
But now they don't know what they're getting. Like, right?
Oh,
they don't like, I guess I don't know if Tony has said what the Grand Slam is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, I think now it's going to be Collision.
It's Collision. They're going to turn
it's the Collision.
Yes, it's Collision. It's coming on right after Slam Dunk competition.
But these people pay premium money for seats thinking it's going to be a pay-per-view. So you think about what Tony Khan's doing to his own fan base, his own paying fan base. So this to make that kind of mistake, it shows you the reason why the company is where it is right now. Like you can't do your hardcore base like that. Like those people may never go to another AEW show. Like I guess they ain't trying to come back anyway. I guess, right? They were like, fuck you guys, right? They might not like. Look, I heard the presence on AEW in Australia was already kind of low. I think the ratings aren't that great in the country. It's going to be even worse because you're shitting on the entire country by under delivering and overcharging. It's just terrible. It's a terrible thing.
He was Australia. I'm trying to figure out why would he do that anyway.
Of course, wanting to go to different markets, but it's interesting. They picked a market for the first time like that, and they overshot. And I'm all about having dreams and aspirations, but you also have to make sure that it's tactful and you've done enough research and developed to say we can go here and do X amount of tickets. When you are, and this is not a knock at all because it took WWE so many years to be able to do a WrestleMania, but when you can only pack in more than 25,000 one time a year, and I was in England, you gotta be able to kind of look at that and say, all right, maybe we shouldn't go and do that. But there's a lot of that kind of stuff around there. But I saw that. I hope everybody who still goes has a good time. I saw the lineup. The lineup looks pretty good, but I've just fallen so out of favor with AEW. When I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna miss that too. I do want to go back and watch Ricochet and Swerve. I heard that match was good, but I just don't like. I'm kind of just good. I'm good.
Hey, well, I hope Samantha, because she wanted to be the Paul E of WWE, right? My man, dude, if she can go to AEW and be like a manager for Ricochet, because Ricochet kind of don't need it, because he's actually doing a really good work. He's actually doing a pretty good job. But I love to see them two, on the air together. I think they'll look great together. I think Samantha would do an awesome job being an advocate for her man. I love to see it.
I do. I think there's popularity with that too for Ricochet to be like a world champion with her there too, because she's so talented and his character work. It's just talking about being released and going to a place to showcase your talent. Ricochet has done it. He's done it for himself. That's why sometimes it's good to have a couple companies, man. Especially AEW may be second, but it's still a place where a person like Ricochet can go and kind of build and grow and get the opportunity. And now we're looking at him so differently. This is not the Ricochet that we saw in WWE. This dude actually, you're like, okay, Ricochet funny. Dude funny. You know what I mean? And then he has a dark side too. As a villain, you can see him as a villain now. You couldn't see him as a villain in WWE. He just look like a corny dude. But now he just he a dude that when you look at him, you're like, okay, you're legit heel. You're legit. Yep. So Ricochet, obviously Swerve, getting this opportunity over there. So I just think that AEW does have its positives for people who didn't get the opportunity in WWE.
Absolutely.
To come over there and showcase their talent. I do appreciate that.
Yep.
They just need better creative. They just need better creative.
I agree with you.
If they have better creative, it'll be a night and day because they got the talent over there, man. They got the talent. They got Man, they just need somebody over there. They need a young Paulie over there. But I don't think Tony Khan's ever gonna
he's not.
Step away from creative. That's too much of a passion for it. To step away and give someone the book to his company, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. So,
and if you're him, it shouldn't right now because business is not as good as it could be, but it's not like they're dying right now. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you just sign on for that huge contract. You're still, getting folks out to your arena, so it's not like dire straits. He's probably looking like, man, that's online fodder. They just don't like our company. Real quick before we get on out of here. So we are now at 56% said no, 44% said yes. Read a couple of quick comments. Backstage Brawl said yes, but the way they're using her is cool, but something is still missing with Charlotte that creative hasn't just figured out. It's the roster placement with the women on the card. And with Mania season in high gear, you won't see that direction and balance on the women's division until after Vegas. Austin said, personally, Becky's absence is more noticeable. I can maybe see that. Devontae said the women's division, Mr. And then Mr. Eric said, not really, but didn't like the Royal Rumble ending. She's still hurt. Love her wrestling, but need to slow her down. So, looks like as of really just look at that.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. The first one really wanted to say no. The first person, he really wanted to say no. He or she, let me not be sexist.
They did a Rhodesia response on that one.
Exactly. I did that for you.
That's definitely you. That was you. That's why you wasn't talking. You was typing your little sweetheart out.
Yeah, that was me who did it. I actually voted. I did vote just a second ago.
That was you. That's great. God bless. Well, hey, I'm gonna throw it to you, my good man. Anything you want to discuss or talk about? Of course, if you want to shout out what you got going on in your platform and your podcast, do so.
I want to give y'all flowers, man. Like, appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Like, yeah, like I said, like your wrestling podcast is to me one of the most insightful podcasts, wrestling podcasts out there. It's authentic, it's genuine. That's what I love about it. I mean, I've been podcasting, doing sports stuff for a while, so when I see a podcast that I like in terms of structure, in terms of like chemistry, I kind of gravitate towards it, and you guys got that. So, and especially trying to get back into the wrestling game and watching it, you guys helped me too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it a being. Y'all helped me too at the same time, getting back into the wrestling game. So, watching you guys, y'all, like, I make sure when I get my YouTube update, and I'm like, okay, oh, y'all fresh? Bet. Let me go watch y'all show. So,
yes, sir.
You guys are definitely. When I put this on X, because I don't BS on X. I just say what I mean. So I was like, when I said that, it was the truth. Like, you guys are my favorite wrestling podcast. I don't care. And I want to say this too. I hate that you call yourself the best kept secret or whatever. Like, because y'all ain't secret. Like, I don't like that terminology, because people ain't like down, they ain't hip. They ain't hip. Like, they got to be hip to it, because what y'all do is giving people real, unbiased content, because you all have your own opinions. Like Rhodesia, in the beginning, you was pro AEW, but you saw it and you were like, I ain't vibing with it no more. And now,
but I ain't anti AEW.
I ain't anti.
Watch out.
But you saw the product. You were like, you know what, WWE doing it for you right now. Matt, you the same way. You know what I'm saying? You were at a certain place, and it wasn't like, it was fairly like a couple months ago. I mean, like maybe last year, when you kind of like changed a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you was like, hey, they ain't doing it for you. Like, you was hating on AEW. But you still my guy, E, because you like Cody. That's why you my guy. But at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying? You guys are truthful. I watch a lot of wrestling podcasts, and my issue with some of them are, like, folks don't admit when they're wrong. And I just think that if you keep doing that, like, you're gonna lose viewers off that alone. And you guys don't do that. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all do great work. Keep it up. And I see that your numbers are growing, which I adore. I love that your numbers are growing. Keep it up.
My guy, man. I'll tell you what's funny about Wole. Wole, and hopefully everybody who is rocking with us, and there's a lot still that we're going to do, and even getting people on the podcast, but you guys can see the community and like the people that we are surrounding ourselves with. I think you guys can tell every person that's come on this pod as a guest kind of has that same energy. It's kind of that community that was one of the things that I wanted to do when we decided to do a podcast. Was I want to have a platform, a community where people can come as they are, and we just talking wrestling, right? Like, it is a particular person though that would enjoy this show, and particular people who don't, and people who don't, I want them to stay away. I've said numerous times, I know for a fact I could have played the game and we could have been much farther in this journey, but I got to be real with myself. And Wole, to that point, there are times where I've stopped listening to certain podcasts because I can tell they pull back, and I get it. If your end game is to interview the wrestlers or to get a job with the promotion, hell, I would love to be working for one of the major companies, but I can't do that and be fake at the same time. Like, that I can't do that. But Wole's been one of the ones, like I said, it feels like since day one, who will go under somebody's Twitter account and put a comment about our podcast. And of course, that means the world to us, because, you've said before, like, I don't even know these cats. It's like what you do, but of course, just not like in the physical, but you absolutely know us and how we rock. But so for you to be able to do that for us and continue just to get the word out, with people like you, though, we won't be the best kept secret for much longer, because people will know who we are. So shout out to you, man. We appreciate you.
Well, folks, we appreciate y'all. Y'all like that, man. Keep it up, man.
So you got a podcast, you said it. Football, Washington Redskins.
Commanders, yeah, Redskins, Commanders.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry.
Look,
you said Redskins?
Yeah,
oh my God. Well, because we kind of a little bitter right now. Actually,
no, I'm
hold on, wait.
That's all,
I'm talking about being a little angry right now. Luckily, we're about 3 weeks removed.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, look. I'm angry at Philadelphia fans. I hate Philly, so it's they jump on my stream and whatnot, and think it's okay.
So, how long you been podding, and shout your podcast out?
Oh man, I've been pod. It's crazy. So I mean, I've been podding since maybe I want to say like 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, we had
Man.
so it's called the Urban Sports Scene. It was a bunch of my friends from college. We all got together. We were like, folks don't sound like us. They don't talk like us on the radio. So we wanted to do something in the Washington D.C. area. We call it the DMV, Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia. So, but yeah, we have folks in the DMV who don't like sound like us. So we were like, yeah, let's try to do something to get on the radio. So we've been doing this for a while. We cover Commanders football, Washington Wizards. They suck. They trash. Also, sometimes we do some baseball. We do a lot of boxing at HBCUs. I went to a HBCU, so we cover a lot of HBCU sports and whatnot. So, yeah, we've been doing it for a while. So, if folks want to check us out, just search Urban Sports, and we're everywhere. I don't need to plug anything. Just plug. We're everywhere. Don't worry about it.
They are, and I can attest the boxing talk, and I can attest Wole knows what he's talking about when it comes to boxing. I have watched some episodes when they've been talking about boxing, and Wole gets deep. Like he talks about the boxing game kind of like I do and my cousin Dwayne does. So shout out to you, man. You definitely know what you be talking about there.
Appreciate it.
I never had any type of ill will towards you guys for beating us in the playoffs. At all. Yeah. Like you guys came in, you took care of business. We decided to play like shit, and it was what it was. Now I don't know if I wanted you guys to beat Philly. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think I wanted Philly to beat you because if you guys would have made it to the Super Bowl, I would have said that should have been the Lions spot. And when Philly beat you guys, I was like, okay, well, I can no longer say that should have been the Lions spot. So,
I mean,
but you got a hell of a quarterback, man. You got a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, Jane like that. Yeah, I hate Philly. I can't even.
He had to bring that one back.
I just can't.
He had to bring that one back.
I grew up. Randall Cunningham was like my favorite quarterback growing up. But yeah, something about that fan base. When I went to college, that's when I started like really being a little bit with Eagle fans. But I got better when I left college, and then just recently, I just forgot how annoying Eagle fans were. I just forgot how annoying Eagle fans can be. And for us, we hate the Cowboys, but I'm almost about to graduate the Cowboys out of my atmosphere and put the Eagles to that list for the team I have to hate the most. And I could be a very petty asshole in life. They about to get it. They about to get this work though. Like these Eagle fans about to get this work.
I am looking forward to that this upcoming year. Last thing, Super Bowl halftime performance. Kendrick Lamar. Let me just get you guys' quick thoughts on what you saw and all that kind of stuff.
I loved it, man. I feel like the people who dislike it are Drake fans. You know what I mean? Just like that's what it is. Like I've seen it. I know your handle because I've seen you. I've seen you say that Drake won the battle. So I know if you said Drake won the battle, and I can go back to you and you saying like Kendrick, the halftime show was bad. I know what time it is with you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was good for me, and I don't get like one. He's a rapper, which I think he's gonna dance like Usher and and Michael Jackson. What we doing here? He's a rapper. Rappers don't dance around. Like he hit all your bangers, just right. Hit your bangers. He had Serena Crip walking. I'm good. I got Serena Crip walking. I'm good. We winning. So I'm cool.
For me, I loved it. My takeaway from the entire performance is he was unapologetically him, and I love that.
Facts. And
the 32 seconds, I think it was, from when he said "Say Drake" to when they showed Serena Crip walking, was the best 30 seconds on television in a very long time. I'm talking decades. And then for us to be of the culture and understand what he's doing, to see these videos of people watching it, and just to watch when they're in the crowd. And when he says "Say Drake" and you hear people, I'm starting to get goosebumps. Yep. When you hear people erupt. And then when they show Serena, they erupt again. Like that was the moment. I don't care if the other 11 minutes or 12 minutes was trash, which it absolutely was not. I loved it. But for that 32-second period, I was like, this is one of the best things that I've seen in decades on television.
Echo both for what y'all said. Kendrick is just this mastermind genius. And I've only watched the performance 1.5 times. I do want to go back and watch it again, or maybe watch some of the reaction videos. He's a genius in everything that he does. There's a meaning behind it. And the one takeaway I would say, and Matt and I had ended up working out together the day after the Super Bowl, and I just came to him, and he looked at me like I'm crazy. I'd be having these enlightened moments in front of him. And he does his best to try to support me through my moments of reality and coming to. I'm like, people who was hating, it wasn't for you. it wasn't for you. Weren't even privileged to this whole culture of ours. You weren't even privileged to what we experienced between the beef of him and Drake, and then just the messaging that he did just overall. You're not even privileged to it. This is just like our own language that we use as Black people. That's us. That's to us. And I'm just saying Black because that's our culture. But for me, when I saw that performance and what I felt, and when I told Matt I had to get up out of my seat, so Wole and E, we were sitting down watching the performance, I had to get up because I needed to move and shake because I was so hype. I was so excited. Every time a new song dropped or every time he started spitting, I'm literally jumping up and down, just hype. And I just think about like what that had to do or what that had to mean, and just knowing deep down inside, like, he's talking to me, or I'm understanding everything that he's doing here. Like, this is for us on the grandest stage that there is. This is for us. And so for me, I was absolutely excited. I don't think there's going to be another rap artist on the Super Bowl for a very long time. So I'm going to just treasure these moments.
In the same, I think Drake's gonna sue the Super Bowl. He's gonna sue Serena, and I think we need to go ahead and shut this pod down. He's gonna sue us too. So let's go ahead and take us home, brother.
That's hilarious. All right, y'all. We up out of here. We gave y'all 2 hours and almost 2.5 hours. What a special guest, Wole. Appreciate your brother, man. Love you for everything you do for us.
So much love.
Continue
Wole.
to be there with us. You are now officially one of the freaks.
Family.
And you are on the pathway with us. We are on the march to 1,000. We are now at, I think, 702 YouTube subscribers. So make sure you tell a friend, tell a family member. We are on YouTube. Of course, we are on the socials at That's F&W. We all over the place. You guys know, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, interact with us. That's how we get on more algorithms. The more algorithms we get on, I told Rhodesia, this is not for me to talk shit, but every single time we get on somebody's new algorithm, we go up in views and subscribers. We just need the eyeballs. You bring the eyeballs, I'm going to make sure we take care of everything else. All right? If that's a deal, that's a deal. We'll be back next week. Probably just doing the same old, same old. Oh, we are going to be, I think, in a couple weeks, right? We got Backstage Brawl that is going to be on the pod. I think that is in 2 weeks. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be on John's show. Let me make sure I get the name right here because I tweeted out yesterday. The name is, they are at S4U Wrestling. That's next week. And then in 2 weeks, Backstage Brawl. So we have Wole this week. Next week, S4U Wrestling. That's the ad on Twitter. And then in 2 weeks, Backstage Brawl is here. So we moving out here. Y'all, we moving out here. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We will see you next week. Peace.